So the thing that sucks about doing like the podcast intros is that like because before it was always like I don't tell you shit and then I tell you then I start it and then you see where it goes. But I find that like whenever we do it, it never goes out well. If that makes sense.
Yeah, no, it doesn't usually.
Yeah, and it's also because of the fact that like every time you have like these stupid funny moments, it's always like outside of any recording thing, whether it be like a stream or the podcast or whatnot. Like what is it? It's one of those things where it's like maybe I don't know if it's like that I want conflict or something, because I know I attempted that in the binned episode, like the last one, but
you attempted conflict
when I was when I brought the Jane discussion back.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Right.
But we all like we have this relationship of like, oh, you're doing stupid shit. All right, cool. And then we just go.
We don't care.
We don't care.
We don't get heated about anything.
Yeah.
You just kind of do what you want.
That was literally like the intro discussion of the last podcast. You guys that we never have like any sort of conflict. But what I'm trying to get at is that sometimes maybe I don't want you guys to go with my wacky bullshit nonsense.
Oh, so you want to fucking go, mate? You won't fucking go. You won't fucking go.
But even then, you're still like doing a stupid thing that like the reaction would just be to go along with it. You see what the problem is?
Yeah. See, I think I know what our problem is. We've known each other for too long. We just need to stop talking for like 4 or 5 years and then come back.
Oh man, I got you covered.
That's technically what happened in middle school, though, because I know, like, for the like the reason
talking though.
Yeah, because like the reason why me and Aiden specifically got so close as we are, like, up till now, is because of the fact that Grant, you went to a different middle school, so then it was literally just me, Tyler, and Grant. I mean, me, Tyler, and Aiden. And then we got to high school, we started talking to
I still talked like a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you weren't
there.
I guess I wasn't there in person, so.
Yeah.
I mean, you were always there, but you weren't there.
It didn't feel It didn't feel right. The atmosphere was different.
I guess high school didn't really help with that either, because none of us went to the same high school.
True, but at the same time, that was also like around the time we were more like we were being more active in talking with each other.
We're big gamer people who play Minecraft together.
Yeah, we were gamers.
Hey, those were epic times.
They were. I'm not trying to shit on those. Those were great times.
In fact, you still play Minecraft.
Hell yeah, I do. I'm gonna fucking stream it as soon as we're done with this shit. Y'all are welcome to join me if you want.
I guess. Maybe we should just like stop being friends for like what you said 4 years and then come back and record a podcast and see where we go.
I'll go on a journey around the world and tell you how it goes.
Yeah, with the way in this economy?
Yeah.
Stop.
I'll tell you if I make it back alive or not.
Don't bring other people's bits into this. So welcome. We are now loading the award-winning podcast. With you always, we are Dranks, Freebiy, and Clover.
Yeah. What he said.
Yeah.
Did you think I was going to call you waiter?
No, I was thrown off by Aiden.
Yeah. It's been a while, but that's because, like, it was literally, like, the last episode, I was like, alright, I think it's about time to edit it. So I combined the audio like I usually do, and then it was, like, event after event, and then, like, working on a commission, and then other shit, and then it was like, well, alright, guess this is all old now. So.
Well, time to throw this back in the bin.
Time to throw this back into the bin. It's not like there's anything else there at all. But at the same time, it was also just like wanting to, as you can see right now, the new background, which it's still work in progress. It's just like a template for now. It was a needed bin, but one that makes me sad because we did talk about things that I thought were super great.
What the fuck?
What?
Why did Audacity pick up that noise I made, but not Discord?
I don't know what you're talking about because I also didn't hear anything.
Exactly. You
know
said
what's-
new background, and I was like, oh! But Discord didn't pick it up.
I think you went so high with that like Discord was like, what was that?
Is that fucking possible?
It's like a dog whistle.
Fucking, I'm a dog. Whistle. I'm a dog whistle.
There
I
you
don't
go.
think that's how that works.
Well,
Maybe. I don't know.
Science.
I might like have some knowledge of tech, but this is not my field of. I don't want to say field of interest because I don't. I'm a graphic designer now. I don't do computers. But that being said, we have some games and we've got some shows and some news to talk about. But before that, I would like to say that this episode is sponsored by us.
Wait, what?
You want to talk about the other podcast?
Oh, yeah, I do! Do you like Star Wars?
Not really.
Because I know I do!
Kinda.
Yeah, no, we're actually, and granted, we should do this soon, making, well, we already made, well, fuck.
Get on with it, man.
We're starting a new podcast here in the near future. The Wrist Rocket Podcast, a Star Wars podcast hosted by yours truly and that other guy below me in Discord that you can't actually see.
That's me.
Yep. We're it's just a Star Wars podcast. It's gonna be the two of us. We're commonly referred to as two halves of a Star Wars encyclopedia, and it's literally a joke we've been having for years.
Wasn't
Yes.
this? I'm pretty sure you said like the idea of this podcast is literally a joke that turned into an actual thing.
Yes.
Yeah. Pretty much.
I think the joke is coming close to like 5 years old at this point. It's been a long time.
Yeah. And also, the idea just sort of came from, what was it, like a few weeks ago. We were just talking about something, and it devolved into talking about Star Wars lore. And then
Which,
you're like,
which is what usually happens.
yeah.
Never planned, it just happens.
It just happens out of nowhere. And then you just said, we do this a lot. Let's just record it sometime. I'm like, okay. And then this has come to be.
Yep.
I mean, we already do this podcast. We know how, we have the know-how on what we're doing. We might as well do it.
Yeah. And also at the same time, like this podcast is also like a thing that was super spur of the moment, and that's why it exists.
Yeah.
It was literally just me going up to Aiden, being like, "Hey man, we did this podcast once. Let's do it again." He's like, "All right." And
We
then
don't talk about the first episode.
first episode
I don't
was
think
rough.
I don't think it exists anymore.
Oh yeah, the reason, like the thing that inspired this, I'm pretty sure it doesn't exist anymore. Let's keep it that way.
No, it does still exist. It's just private, so no
It's-
one can see it.
It's
I want to
really.
see it sometime.
I don't even remember like the
No.
whole discussion that was with it. It was just like really, really shit audio.
I remember, and the only
That
reason I
sounds
remember
about
this
right.
is because it was the title of the video is about nanobots. But I don't remember the science behind it because
Where the heck did this conversation go?
Yeah, where did it?
Good point. The core is that another podcast is going to happen. So alongside the loading cast, we now also have the rocket cast.
The Wrist Rocket Podcast coming to a bunch of dumbs YouTube channel near you in the eventual future of maybe. Well, not maybe, but it's gonna happen. It's maybe when gonna happen.
Soon
What?
TM.
Yeah, there we go.
Alongside that announcement, I was going to probably mention really quickly that binned episodes are a thing that I've mentioned before, but I want to see if I can try to find a way to actually upload clips of them where it's like, say, like for example, last episode, last binned episode where we talked about like Doom Eternal or Nier Automata and stuff like that. Those are things that I still want to exist onto the channel, but because they can't exist in like a formal episode, then I might just upload them as themselves, and we'll probably make a playlist. So there will probably be more content with this podcast that's not this podcast that will be uploaded. And
More content
More to
that
come.
is the podcast, but isn't the podcast.
yes.
I love it. Can we upload Hoopla?
What would be the point?
I don't fucking know.
Alongside those announcements, we also have some pop-ups. what have you guys been fucking watching on YouTube recently?
Fuck, I don't have my notes open. Ooh, can I do it? Can I do it?
Yeah, go ahead.
Y'all know the Cup song, right?
The Cup song.
I
don't think so.
do.
I feel like if I
wish
listen to, I feel like it's one of those things that if I listen to it, then I'll get it.
Oh, you'll definitely hear it. But now take
Yeah.
the Cup song, but America.
What?
And instead of cups, it's a pistol.
Oh, I think I know what you're talking about.
I saw that for like the first time, maybe like yesterday, and I've watched it like 100 times because it's like 4 seconds long and it's so fucking stupid and I love it.
Yeah. Man, when I was trying to figure out what I wanted to talk about for pop-ups or like bring up, I realized that there's a lot of really dumb shit posts that I've been watching repeatedly because they're so fucking hilarious, but I don't want to bring them up because they're like tiny, minuscule things that don't matter.
And who gives a shit? I just brought up a tiny minuscule thing that doesn't matter.
True. I try to make pop-ups like a somewhat meaningful thing.
Okay, well I've got some other meaningful things,
Alright.
but come back to me. Or do you want me to hit it all now?
Hit it all now.
Alright, so my favorite Pokemon game is Pokemon Platinum. And there's currently a fan recreation of Pokemon Platinum in Unreal Engine 4 being made.
What?
Yeah. If you go up to my my pop-ups, you can find actually a link to like a 4-minute video of just like a fly around to the Sinnoh region. There's really no gameplay yet, and in fact in the last build, battles were broken and they just straight up couldn't fight. But they're rebuilding it, and it looks fucking great.
It does.
So
I need to look at this.
Okay, I'm looking at this now. This looks incredible.
As much as I would love to have it, I highly doubt that it'll ever get released because, you know, Nintendo and Game Freak kind of crack down on fan projects like this and say, like, no!
Which is dumb.
Stop it!
Why can't they just do what Sega does? And like, yeah, alright.
I don't know. It's Nintendo. They gotta protect the money that they're gonna make anyways. So that's being worked on, and it looks fucking amazing.
Yeah, and this is version 1.1, which looks impressive for like the first version.
It's like the full. I think what they have so far is like basic battles, the main character player model, Pokemon models, and the entirety of the Sinnoh region. So I'm excited. I'm gonna follow this one closely because Gen 4 is my favorite generation of Pokemon, and out of the 3 Gen 4 games, Platinum is my favorite. So, you bet your ass I'm gonna follow that shit.
So what do the battles look like in it? Because I'm looking.
I would say it looks more. It looks more akin to like how battles look now, but if they were still old, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, I just found the clip in there.
Because it's 3D models, but it's still like. It's still like the fixed camera angle of like the back of your Pokemon to the front of their Pokemon, like it was like back then, but it's all 3D.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it's kind of weird to go from all the pixeliness to like this, but this also looks really good.
Now, the only thing that I find really weird about that so far is that they show off some of like the walking and the running animations, and I think like the in-world sprite of your character looks kind of weird and blocky, but
Yeah.
But that's the aesthetic, though.
yeah. So I can forgive it for that. And that's all I know about Platinum and UE4 anyways, so
It still looks.
it looks fucking great.
Yeah, this has me interested. This looks incredible.
I hope that it gets like they actually completely recreate Platinum and that they release it to the public, because I would fucking play the shit out of that.
Yeah.
Because I haven't played Platinum since probably 2011. I would say at the earliest. When did Platinum come out? I don't actually know.
It had to have been like.
Platinum. 2008 is when Platinum came out.
Okay.
Or sorry, 2009 for North America.
Yeah,
But-
that was going to be like around my guess. I was going to say like sometime not too long before 2010.
And I think the last time I played it, or at least any of the Gen 4 games, it probably wasn't Platinum. It was probably Diamond, because that's the one I put the most time into. Was probably about 2011, and then my DS died, and I never got a new one.
Rip.
But moving on from Pokemon, who likes Big Time Rush?
It was okay.
Because they did a thing recently, actually.
Really?
Yeah, about a month ago, they re-recorded one of their favorite songs worldwide and just put it up on the internet. And I somehow missed it, because out of all the Big Time Rush songs, Worldwide is actually my favorite too. It's a good one. They released it almost 7 years after the almost exactly 7 years after the show got canceled or ended. I can't tell.
Oh my god, they all look so different now.
I know,
Yeah,
right? It's weird.
I don't recognize like any of them.
I recognize one of them, and everyone else looks like completely different people.
It's 7 years does a lot to people, you know.
Yeah, true.
So I think technically the 7-year mark of the show ending is this month. Don't ask me why I know that.
I see you were a big fan.
Well, I did. I never finished the show originally, and then I went back and finished it at one point. And when I got to the series finale, I didn't know it was the series finale. So I was kind of disappointed.
Did that show actually have an ending, or was it like...
Oh, it had an ending. It just felt like any other episode, though.
Oh.
It basically No.
Okay.
Alright.
I'm not going to talk about it. I think I talked about it on the podcast before.
You have. I specifically remember that you talked about it before on a podcast.
I think that was before Grant came along.
Yeah, that was an old episode.
Back when we were drinking games or some shit.
The drinks
one of
still
the
exist.
12 other names that this has had.
It's only like 3. It's fine. Don't worry about it. So what else you got for us, Aiden?
That's it.
Okay.
That's probably the second driest thing I have.
Fair. Alright, Grant, what you got? What have you been watching?
Not really anything, because I am dumb and I was not prepared. So yeah. I have other stuff going on, don't judge me.
No, that's fair.
In your defense, I'm also the same way. I had to really dig for something.
Yeah.
Alright, so outside of the announcements, which we've gone over, I've got 2 things. The first one is a video by, let me actually pull up his name really quick. Chroma Mama, I believe that's what it is.
Why didn't that?
But
Whatever.
it is
Who knows?
how to fill a sketchbook in 12 hours. So this is an artist who was wondering about like I think like the premise of it was like he was wondering how he should go about filling a sketchbook, because he sees like all these like accepted Cal Arts sketchbooks and stuff like that, and whenever someone posted like something from their sketchbook, the pages and the spreads being like these super intricate, highly detailed, beautiful drawings. So he challenged himself to try to fill an entire sketchbook in 12 hours. Sadly, he didn't do it, but he did learn about like what's sort of the approach when it comes to wanting to fill a sketchbook. This video was one that I specifically found very interesting, because what to do with a sketchbook has always been a thing that has been like something that's on the back of my mind, because I have like what? Let me actually count the number. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sketchbooks.
I thought 1 was a lot.
Well, 6 is like over the course of like all these years, like 6 finished ones, quote unquote finished, and then 1 that I have now. Actually, no, technically 2 others that I have now. And every single time I see it, it's always like, what the fuck do I draw? And I've tried to address this before, but for the most part, it's always like a thing that it exists, and then every now and then I'll draw in it. So what this video does is that it talks about like not just like how to fill a sketchbook, but it's more of like what was the approach that this person specifically went when it came to trying to complete this challenge of filling a sketchbook within 12 hours, and then sort of like what might be the best approach to going with this, like to filling a sketchbook. And it's something that's super interesting, and it's a great reminder of, hey, sketchbooks aren't like this extremely like significant thing. They can just be something that you just put whatever in. Or at the very least, it's something that shouldn't be seen as something that's meant to be perfect, right? So that's my first pop-up. And then second one is James Lee Animation. I want to ask you guys to actually like go to my notes really quick and actually click on this guy's channel and like watch like maybe like the first video that pops up, because this is like, I don't know even where to start with describing it. It's a very specific aesthetic that is extremely creative. Actually, I'll ask you guys to watch the Breaking Up with Adobe video.
Oh, this guy. I've seen this stuff before.
Yeah, because he blew up recently. Like, the first instance I saw him was the Breaking Up with Adobe video on Twitter that just showed up because somebody popped
so weird, but I love them.
Yeah, because it's like 2D animation, but it's also like used with his sort of character Nox, like as like an actual real person moving in all these very animated ways, and I fucking love it so much. It's like it's a sort of like grungy, like disgusting, like not retro, but like sci-fi-ish aesthetic where you have like super bright colors and like this sort of like extremely high contrast like visuals, and then it's just like a person acting in such a way that looks like it's 2D animated and looks. I've never seen anyone approach animation this way, and I think it's probably one of the greatest things. And I think that James Lee blowing up in popularity because of the way this sort of aesthetic that he's established, or the sort of style that he's established, is like rightfully earned. So with what little audience we have, I want to call attention to his content because holy shit is it amazing. It's one of those things that you look at and you're like, fucking shit, I wish I had this much creativity.
One day we might.
One day we might.
Probably not, but one day.
But that's all.
I did remember something that I recently rediscovered on YouTube, and it's the Rooster Teeth Let's Plays with Joel and Adam, and more specifically their Gmod Let's Build a Car. That I think the first 10 minutes of that video might be some of the funniest, just like playing of Gmod I've ever like seen, just because they don't know what they're doing and it just devolves into like fighting each other so quick. Like it's insane how fast that happens.
It's 6 years old.
I know, and neither of them work for the company anymore. And
I didn't Joel get like fired?
I don't know if it was fired, but I know there was at least some kind of disagreement.
Terms.
Yeah. Wow, my stuff is out of order. Hold on a second. But yeah, I absolutely love that video so much. Just because that's kind of like, I don't know, it just feels like back when RT just like had, it was in simpler times and they could just like, they just uploaded like 2 people playing a game.
God.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And that eventually turned into Joel and Adam's how-to series. So
God, I loved how to.
that was, and too bad it ended. But yeah, that is video I love very much and absolutely recommend.
Very good.
Oh, there's 2 of them.
Yeah, there's part 1 and part 2. I like part 1
and then
more
there's Joel and Adam build the Millennium Falcon.
though. Yeah.
Nice.
It's so dumb.
Good nostalgia.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Always good to have that every now and then.
Yeah.
Yeah. Alright, let's talk about some video games.
All right, because we're a video game podcast.
That's right. Who wants to start?
That's a loud silence.
That is a loud silence. Alright. I guess I'll start. I'll start us off. Because this one's fairly quick.
You're fairly quick.
I mean... I don't know. So I played Helltaker.
What could that
Helltaker is a fairly new game that came out recently. It blew up in popularity, and it was one of those things where like you see a bunch of like fan art of it, and you're like, "What the fuck is this?" So I decided to look it up, and it was it's basically a puzzle game where the premise is that you play as a guy who woke up in a cold sweat one day and was like, "Bro, demon harem." So he goes to hell and goes to acquire his demon harem.
As you do.
Yeah, as you do. So, it's a puzzle game with like how to describe it, with like an Undertale inspired boss battle. And what you do is you solve all these puzzles, and at the end of each puzzle is a demon girl who you get like a dialogue option to basically convince her to join your harem. And you go and gather all these demon girls, and then that's the game.
It looks really weird.
Yeah, it's super.
I just looked it up.
Yeah, it's also a super short game. Like to beat in its like completion, it takes you like around 2 hours. It's super short. But I see why this game got the attention it did, because well, the art style I don't really care for it because it feels a little generic. However, the character designs of this game are fucking phenomenal. So the reason why this game exists is because the creator was like, there is not enough medium that features demon girls in business suits. So what he did was he went and made a game. So what he did was he went and made a game. And
that's fair. I get that.
So what he did was he basically tried to, I think for the most part, he did all the programming and the character designs as well. And for the game's free. And if you spend $10, you get the art book as well as a pancake recipe, which I'll get into later. And the art book has like the creator's notes about like how he wanted to approach the game. Like he was like him considering like what the demons should look like, what the Helltaker should look like, and then also like sort of how he used inspiration from like mythology, if that's the right word. Yeah, mythology, so that he can actually design each character. Like and it's always like, it can either be something where it's just like very fundamental, or it could be something that's really small. Like for example, the first demon you meet, Panamonica, she's described as the well, each by the way, each demon has like a title at the end of their name. So yeah, the first one is Panamonica, the sleepy demon. And one thing that's like significant with her character is the fact that she has like hair that looks like sheep's wool. And then it's always like all these very specific and very subtle like character design elements. What I really like about the character designs is the fact that each demon, for the most part, looks almost exactly the same. They all have like white hair, pale skin, and then like horns. But
yeah,
like,
I'm seeing that.
Yeah, but with like each character, it's always taking the premise of their name and trying to manipulate that in such a way so that you can so that the creator can depict, do the essential thing with character design, be able to tell who this character is based on their appearance. So that called to me specifically because character design is literally the thing that got me into art. And it is like the one thing that like I have the most obsession with when it comes to design, any sort of design. And then I love that not just the character designs, but like the characterization of each character as well. Oh shit, I'm just saying character a lot. But it's all I'm really just trying to say is that it's a very small game that has a lot of attention brought to it, and despite the fact that it is like super short and super tiny, the fact that it manages to take its premise and emphasize it in such a strong way is truly incredible. Back to the pancake recipe. So, as I said,
go on.
As I said, if you pay $10, you get the DLC, which includes an art book, which features like all the character sprites and animations, as well as the concept art, and it also includes a pancake recipe, which is in the form of a comic of the Helltaker and Lucifer talking about how they make the pancakes that are featured in the game. They call it pancakes, but like you probably know them more as like crepes, where they're just like really flat pancakes that have crepes, or however you pronounce it.
Creeps.
Where it's just like creeps.
Creeps, yes. Where it's just like a really flat pancake with like fruits and some sort of like spread inside, and then they roll it up. And I've been trying to figure out how to make these for like the past like month or something. Because
yeah,
it gives you like the ingredients and the instructions and everything, but there's one thing about this recipe, or making these kind of pancakes specifically, where the goal when you make them is to, when you make the batter, you're supposed to make it as flat as possible. Making it as flat as possible is fucking hard. even if you manage to make them in a way that's like, all right, these actually look really good, and I would probably be fine serving them to people, maybe. It's still super hard to make them flat. But I think like, I'm sure I've gained like at least like a few pounds just because I've been trying to master how to make these. Because in the comic they make it look so fucking easy, but like when you actually try and do it, I'm pretty sure there's like twice where I'm like, I'm gonna burn the house down by the end of this. I know one time there was like something like something fell on the stove and like a fire erupted for like half a second.
Do you know what I'm thinking?
What?
Cooking vlog.
I've talked about this, Aiden.
We should actually do it though.
Someone's house is gonna be burnt down by
That's
the
the
House is
point.
going to fucking explode by the end of it, but hey, we will have food. Let's not make false promises though.
I don't call them false promises. I call them optimistic projections.
Okay. Now answer me this, Kishto. Why do I keep seeing pictures of a dude in a nice red dress shirt with an apron that says Satan on it?
That is the Helltaker.
Oh.
Because like when you woke up, like in the beginning when you woke up, like the description of like the premise of why the Helltaker went to hell, he said like he wants a demon harem, so he put on his best suit and went to hell, and then proceeded to do the thing. but then like at the end of the game, there's a bit where you have your harem, and then you actually like go serve each girl in your harem a pancakes, and he's wearing like an apron and stuff like that.
Okay.
And you said this game is free?
Yes. Also,
Okay.
There's also a thing where there's actually a secret girl that you can get into your harem, and what I wish I knew before I actually got it was that if you get the secret ending, then you do get like there's like a link to, I think it's the art book if I'm remembering right. So but then again, I was also prepared to pay for this game, and I didn't realize it was free until I was actually getting it. But I was like, hey, fuck it, I'll spend $10 for an art book, why not?
Try
prefer
not to get
pancake
murdered
recipe?
by demon girls. Get murdered by demon girls anyway.
Yeah.
Alright, I'll check this game out.
Yeah, I mean, it's free, so it's
There's no
worth
reason
it.
not to.
Yeah. But yeah, Helltaker, pretty fucking good. I'm pretty sure I did do fan art of it recently, like around the time that I beat the game.
Wow, it only took you 0.6 hours to do it.
Yeah.
It's a short game.
Yeah, it's super short.
How many achievements does it have?
8. I would know because I did all of them.
That's a stark contrast to the Master Chief Collection 700.
Yeah, like I said, small game. Definitely worth the time. Alright, who else has got? What else have other people played?
Speaking of hell, it's my turn to talk about this.
Yes.
I've been playing Doom! Or, well, I've played Doom. I need to go back and finish it, but I've started playing Doom 2016. And let me start off by saying I never thought hell could look so good.
Oh yeah.
It looks so good, and it's so much fun to play, because it's just senseless violence. And who doesn't love senseless violence? It's Senseless Violence Simulator 2016 with I will agree that violence is the best genre of music. I will agree with that now that I've actually played the game. And I don't really have much to add to it, because the last time we talked about Doom 2016, you guys kind of nailed it. It's fucking great.
Enough said.
Yeah, I'm just kind of saying that I'm playing it.
Yeah.
Because I just wanted to say that I'm playing it so people know that I'm actually doing it.
Mm-hmm. It also
because there are plenty of times where I say, oh yeah, I'll check this out, or yeah, I'll play that, and I never do. But I'm actually playing Doom. So
yeah.
And I've been documenting it on Twitch. Follow.
I don't remember, how far did you get last time?
Second hell.
Second hell, gotcha. And it also does help that like I've been popping into your streams as you play it and help you along the way.
Yeah.
I think I nailed the absolute timing of telling you when to expect the Cyber Demon.
Oh yeah, you did. You're like,
oh yeah, that's a great clip, by the way.
I clipped it and it was amazing.
I can't remember exactly what you said. It's like, get ready or something.
I
Like,
said
ready for
good
what?
luck.
Yeah, you
Good
said get ready
luck.
for what? To which the cyber demon fucking busts the door open and grabs you. You're like, oh
Like
no.
the second you're like, am I gonna need it? And then the second you said that, like the hand comes through the door.
Yeah, that was the best thing ever. That's probably one of my
Yeah,
favorite
it's-
clips.
Did I actually upload that one to YouTube or not? I
Yes.
don't remember. I did?
Yes, because I know I watch it on YouTube.
If I didn't, that was a mistake.
Yeah. But yeah, Doom 2016, you're enjoying it?
Yes.
I like
No,
it.
it's not.
It
on
seems
YouTube.
kinda
I'm gonna
hesitant.
change that.
Oh shit.
Sorry,
Okay.
sorry.
did
I was,
see it
I
on
was checking to
Twitch
see
then?
if the clip was on YouTube, and it's not. I'm gonna change that right now.
Okay, I must have seen that. I know you. I think you sent it to me.
I sent it.
Okay, gotcha.
Where
Also, I'm
is
glad
it?
that you said that violence is your favorite genre of music because I did. Because once you get to Doom Eternal, the music gets much more violent at times. I know I sent you like the most violent track, which was Phobos Bass, and you were like, "This is so loud." I'm like, "Yes, it is."
My second favorite genre of music, loud.
Violence.
Number one is violence, second is loud.
What if you combine the two and it's ascend?
Oh, clips.
Get infinite power.
Right.
Yeah, I know like Doom Eternal, Doom 2016 specifically, that soundtrack is one that's like, I think there's 4 tracks that are on my favorites playlist on Spotify. I know like Aiden, you've heard one of my favorite songs, but I'm waiting for you to get to like the last levels, where it's like you're just like, oh yeah, that's that shit. The music's super good, is what I'm trying to say.
The thing with Doom soundtrack is in me is that I have a hard time differentiating the songs, but it's like when I get to an epic moment, I just like would crank up the sound so I could just hear like this epic violent music going in the background because it just fits so well. So like, chances are I wouldn't be able to tell each of the songs apart, but I still like love it to death.
True, but at the same time, like I focus on soundtracks for games way more than you do. I think.
Yeah, probably.
Because like I can name like the majority of the tracks on the Doom Eternal soundtrack from head alone, and you're probably like, what the hell is that name?
Yeah.
Yeah. Glad to know you're enjoying Doom 2016. Can't wait to see you stream more of it.
I'm probably gonna. Well, I would stream it after the podcast, but like I want to stream something different because I streamed Doom for like 4 days in a row,
Yeah.
and that was kind of like the last time I streamed really, or streamed heavily anyways. So I want to do something different.
All right.
Though, little side thing, what I have noticed about me and soundtracks is that usually the ones I really like are and that I can tell the difference between like all the songs, are the games where, I've noticed that it's like either turn-based games or good songs where, you're not really doing anything while it's playing. Like in Nier, all of like the overworld songs that don't play like that aren't playing like when you're fighting things, I can usually tell those apart, like the amusement park and when you're running around the city and that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And like in Persona 5 and Fire Emblem and all that kind of stuff, I can tell them apart mainly because you have time to like think about it and you're not focusing on the actual game.
True. I feel like with soundtracks, like it's usually, I feel like soundtracks one of those things I notice immediately. Like I remember when I was playing Devil May Cry 5, when we got to the Cavalier Angelo fight, the soundtrack when it kicked in, I was like, yo! And I was like, I need to know what this track is immediately after this fight. I think maybe it's just like, maybe it's a first impression thing, or is it just like you're more focused on the game more than you are the soundtrack? Hey, the clip's on
Well,
YouTube
in
now.
the case of like Devil May Cry and Doom and that stuff, I'm focusing more on the game. But like if a song stands out, then like it kind of like what is it? Like with, you can't even tell what the song is called, but the Devil May Cry, like the Devil Trigger or whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
That one stands out to me just because like it was kind of, I guess I saw someone like break down the song one time and they kind of summed it up.
Yeah.
It's like it has the like main part of it where it's supposed to catch you and stay memorable, and it's like bang 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 boom, my
Yeah.
Devil Trigger, like that is like made to like stick into your head and be there, and like it did that well because that's like one of my most memorable parts of the game.
Yeah.
Is fighting and like having that go in the background.
True. Maybe it's just that I'm a huge music freak, so I'm like almost like instinctively looking for good tracks to listen to. I know
Yeah.
with Doom Eternal it was like that specifically, where there's a lot of tracks where I'm like, oh yeah, this is super good. Then I need to know what the name of this is by the time I'm done with this play session.
Anyway, I have games.
What have you played?
So, last time I talked about Yakuza 0. And let me tell you, that game is one of the very few games I will put into the category of masterpieces that I have played. That game is so unbelievably good. I'm just saying
that's a statement.
Yes, it is. I highly recommend that you guys play it. It's insane. But yeah, I beat it. Probably the best story of any game I've ever played. Very fun to do. But Zero isn't my focus. I'm moving on to Yakuza Kiwami now.
What?
Ooh.
Which is an HD remake of the first Yakuza game that has been made. It's completely remade from the ground up. And pretty much it takes the engine from... There's something driving by.
Oh no, someone died.
Wee woo, they're here for the weed.
It was the fire engine.
No, they're here for my flaming weed.
They there to join you?
Disclaimer, I don't have weed.
You need to stop smoking pot. We're very concerned for your health, Aiden.
Disclaimer, I'm not a druggie, I'm just an alcoholic. Arguably worse.
Anyway, moving on.
So talk about Yakuza.
So it pretty much takes the engine from Zero, and so it has like all the combat and stuff mixed in there. But you only play as one character in this one, which is Kiryu he's in Zero. But playing the game, it almost feels like it's an expansion of Zero rather than its own game, because it's a lot shorter. It takes place in the exact same place, so like everything, like the map is pretty much exactly the same, but I think that's just the thing with the series. And there's a few less activities, but there are like also some new ones. But it's just really weird to go in and play it because it takes place like almost 20 years later. But I like see stuff that people are like, oh, you should play Kiwami before Zero. But after playing both of them, I think that you should play Zero first, because there's characters in Kiwami that, while the point of the prequel is to kind of see where they came from, how they got to where they were, they just don't feel as important in Kiwami as they do if you played that first than if you played Zero first. Like,
is it
Kiryu's
like
best... What?
Is it like they're two separate stories and it doesn't really matter which you play in?
Yeah, it doesn't matter what you play first, really. I think you'll get a good experience either way. But like, for example, there's Kiryu's best friend, like his blood brother for life, is Nishiki. He's not in Kiwami that much, but he's actually in Zero a decent amount. And I'd feel like if you played Kiwami first, you wouldn't really feel as much of a connection as you would if you played Zero first. And I feel like and that's like one thing I'm glad that you did. And there's like another character who dies at some point in Kiwami that's like barely in the game, but they're in Zero a little bit. And so like I actually felt something like when this person died. But
okay.
like,
yeah,
if
okay. Yeah, I know what you're talking about because I'm I'll save it, but I know what you're talking about because it's about. I was going to mention the thing about a game that I'm going to talk about later.
Yeah, but I definitely recommend it if you're wanting to get into Yakuza, because let me tell you, that's definitely a series I'm going to continue to play. I have Kiwami 2 lined up here to play next after I beat my next game.
Wow.
But I can't. I'm the one who has to get through everything.
No.
It has to be done.
It does.
Does it?
Play the game until it's done.
Yeah, even in Kiwami, there's like nods to Zero that like weren't in the base game that they had onto the end of it. Like there's this pocket like car circuit thing, little RC car circuit that you can go to in Zero and play at, and then you can go there in Kiwami, and it wasn't in the original Yakuza. You go there like 20 years later, and like you find like some of the kids, because you play with like children there in Zero, but you go there and like some of them are like grown up, and you see them, they're like, hey, Kiryu, I haven't seen you in years, and like stop coming around here a little bit. It's like, yeah, it's been a while. And if you just played that without playing it Zero, you wouldn't really get it. But like going back there and after playing Zero, you're like, ah, man, hey man, how you doing? And so yeah, it's awesome. Definitely recommend.
Very good.
Wow.
You said it was basically like Persona, where it's like another big series that you love for like way more than you probably should.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I don't know about way more than I probably should, but
Sure.
definitely something I'm gonna continue to play through. Mainly because they've made it easy to get into now, because I think every game now in the series is available on PS4 if you count like remasters and that kind of stuff.
Oh, nice.
So it's definitely accessible for anyone who has a PS4, and I think a lot of them are on PC too.
A lot of them are on Steam. Yes, I've looked.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'll go ahead and grab this next game, and I'll talk about Katana Zero. And I'm going to try my hardest not to just gush, because holy fuck do I love this game.
No, please do, but no spoilers because I do want to play it.
Okay. Well, I wasn't going to talk about any spoiler things.
Okay, good.
All right. I've talked to you guys about this already, where I basically said that the premise of the game is you're a katana dude who can slow down time.
Yes.
That is the game. Yes.
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 And
Confirm.
game confirmed.
What does IGN give it?
Good question. I don't know.
I will look.
I'll let you look it up as I try to continue with this. So yeah, it is a game in which you are Katana dude with time powers. It has a very specific, well, not very specific, but like it has the sort of cyberpunky computer glitch aesthetic.
8.7.
8.7. Yeah, that's pretty good. I feel like it should be higher.
Well, this is also IGN we're talking about.
True.
Yeah.
It's probably like oh no, the game was way too hard. Because I guess I could start with the gameplay. The gameplay is fairly simple and straightforward, and for the most part, you'll be doing a lot of the same things, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. You have this dude, you're this dude, you have a katana, and you fight against dudes who can punch you, who can slash at you, who can shoot you. Some people have got shields, some people have got shotguns, and the goal is to use your powers and your your katana to basically kill all the enemies in the level or do whatever the mission is. And as you go through it, once you complete each mission, then the game will actually play back what you did. And because of the time powers, what it does is that it basically negates it, so it goes in real time. The gameplay, it's not much to say about it, because like I said, it is very straightforward and very simple. What I did get caught on to this game was the story, because there was a lot more meat in that story than I initially thought. So when you start out the game, you're just this dude who has time powers who goes through these therapy sessions. And then after each session, you go on these missions so that you can do something. It doesn't actually tell you, but over the course of the game, it gets revealed, like, you learn about, like, who you are, why you're going on these missions, and then also about the I'll call it medicine, because that's what it's treated as before, the medicine that you're given that actually gives you the time powers. And then it gradually introduces, like, all these different characters and all these different concepts. And there's also a thing where your character Zero, he has, like, these nightmares that you talk to your therapist about. And then kind of every, like, I don't know if it's after every single mission, but, like, it's at the end of missions where more details with these nightmares will get revealed. And then it eventually leads to a big reveal at the end of the game. It's surprisingly much more heartfelt than I thought it'd be. Because in the game, you meet this, like, little girl who's just, like, when you first meet her, she's just, like, this little shit kid. But eventually you sort of, like, get this relationship with her, and then eventually you get I don't know how much I want to say or how much I really can say without spoiling it, but you develop this relationship with this little girl, and she becomes like a significant part of your life. And then as the events of the game keep going, you kind of, that relationship gets manipulated in ways that I can't really say much more of. What I'm really just trying to say is that despite the fact that this is a game that's very straightforward in its gameplay, it does have story that has a lot of meat to it.
Looking at just some screenshots of the game, it gives me a lot of, like, My Friend Pedro vibes.
That's what I was thinking when I looked at it.
Yeah.
Is it
That's
a Devolver game?
I'm pretty sure it is a Devolver game.
Okay, that would make sense.
Yeah. Those are actually, that's a very good comparison. And it's also, I talked about a game called Akane before on the podcast, and I mostly made it close to that because they're both similar in gameplay, where it's like you're this person with a katana that has like special abilities, and if you get hit once, you're done. But with this game, it's like, the concept is that once you die, you get restarted back to the beginning, and then the more you play, the more you get into the game, the levels will actually get longer, so that if you die, then you get set back way further than you normally would. So it's also just not just going around killing all these dudes, it's also like trying to figure out what's the best route to actually approach something. And then alongside your katana and your time powers, you also can pick up all these different things that you can throw at people, whether it be like a bottle that will like kill someone instantly, or it can be like a sticky grenade that has like a remote control where you stick it on someone, then you press the button to throw again so that you can blow it up. Or you can also pick up Molotovs, where if you throw them at like these barrels, then they will cause like a giant chain reaction of an explosion that will kill a bunch of dudes in a very specific area. There's a lot of attention, like it's very simple, but it's also like it's very clear that the people who made this game paid a lot of attention to making this feel incredible. And that's also exemplified in the boss fights, which there are 3 initially, I believe. No, there's definitely, I think there's like 5, and then there's a secret boss that you can unlock if you approach the game in a very specific way, which I don't know if I won't say much on it. All I'll say is, what the fuck? I don't know if I want to. I was going to ask you guys to look up a picture of the secret boss, but I'm going to ask you. You don't, because while I was going through like I was looking up like how to actually get the boss, I tried to very specifically avoid what the actual boss fight was. I just knew what it involved, or like who you're actually fighting, but once I actually got into the boss fight itself, I was like, holy shit, this is great. And then it gets super fucking freaky and weird, like some Junji Ito shit, where it's like, fuck, God, okay, never mind, I'm not gonna go along with that, because I was gonna spoil a completely different thing. What I'm trying to say is this game is great, the boss fights are great, and the story is surprisingly compelling. And then sort of seeing like, God, there's a plane outside this room.
Does that too?
Yeah. Seeing how the
like
story sort of like continues to add on the initial concepts that were introduced. It becomes more than just, oh, you're this dude who goes around killing people. It becomes way more, and it starts to feel like one of those things where it's like you're just one tiny part of a much grander story, because it's not just you and whatnot. It's not just you and your time powers. It's also government experiments. It's also war, and like a bunch of different characters that are involved in trying to like very specifically trying to affect the concepts that you were interacting with. Game's great. I know, Grant, I specifically recommended this to you because I'm sure you'd like it a lot.
Yes.
But yeah, Katana Zero. Oh yeah, I should also mention that the creator of it, I don't have his name written anywhere, but he's actually working on DLC. And which basically, in the game, there's another guy that you meet who has a katana and time powers, and I believe the DLC lets you play as him. And I don't remember if there's more to it than that, but even still. But his whole shtick is that he has like an additional ability that you don't have, and it's fucking awesome. Play this game.
Yeah, I definitely want to check it out.
Yeah,
And like I looked at it, and
I'm pretty sure it's only
kinda
like
reminds me
$15 on Steam.
What?
I'm pretty sure it's only like $15 on Steam if I'm remembering right.
think
I know
it's
I
on
bought
Switch.
it during the sale, so I got it for cheaper, but I think the default price is fairly low.
I think it's on Switch too.
It is on Switch, because the person who recommended it to me was playing it on Switch.
Yeah, and it kind of reminds me of, like Aiden said, like my friend Pedro, and even though I didn't beat that, I still thought it was pretty fun.
Yeah, that's actually a pretty good comparison too.
Yeah.
Alright, that's enough from me. Aiden, what else have you been playing?
It's not a new game. Not by any stretch of the imagination. In fact,
That's
it's
like
over a
most
decade
of my
old.
games.
But your boy's playing Halo 3 again.
Yeah.
Aren't we all though?
Yeah, we are, though. All of us. Every single one of us. Because Halo is back on the motherfucking menu, brother.
Coming out here.
Welcome to the gamer restaurant. We are serving Halo again.
Because fucking 343 is finally getting the Master Chief Collection right. So I guess it's not really specifically Halo 3 I'm talking about. It's more of the collection as a whole, because they've added some new... It's the Halo 3, quote, update, but that's just because they released Halo 3 on the PC, so... things that came in the Halo 3 update. Obviously, for the PC release, Halo 3.
Oh, you don't say.
Yes.
I hope so.
I've never been so wet before. Because you're taking probably my favorite Xbox game of all time and giving me mouse and keyboard functionality for it.
That was quite a way to describe that.
But that's how it felt! I don't know how else to describe it. It's Halo 3, but it's on the PC in 4K. Even though I can't do 4K, it's in 4K.
You opened up like the Master Chief Collection, saw Halo 3 there, and it immediately came.
I mean, yeah! It was on the top of the Steam store for like 3 days. There's that. Probably the best part, the PC release of 3. But they've also added challenges.
Those are game changers.
Right.
It really was. Because, don't get me wrong, I love Halo. But the challenges are really what keep me coming back.
Yeah.
Because it gives me specific tasks to do. That, and specifically with the Master Chief Collection anyways, you can, certain challenges will give you the season points, which you can use to unlock, like the season tiers, so like the Reach Armor, or Season 2, which I'll get to in a minute. So there's not daily, there should be daily, because I got through the weekly challenges in like 2 days.
They're not crazy hard at all.
There's weekly PvP challenges, which are obviously like multiplayer-focused challenges. Then there's weekly PvE challenges, which is match-made firefight and campaign challenges, and which are straightforward, like get 1,000 headshots using precision weapons, or win 7 multiplayer games. There's what are they, seasonal challenges?
That win 7 multiplayer games can be rather impossible sometimes.
Well, I do. So.
As I have learned.
Well, it doesn't have to be in a row.
I know.
But no one ever said it was easy.
More often than not.
There's also, what is it, seasonal challenges?
Yeah.
Yeah, seasonal challenges. Kind of themed towards the current thing, which is at the moment Halo 3. But then there's also the Halo 3 challenges that came out, which there's only 2 of them, but they have some pretty cool stuff. One is a nameplate, which you get for unlocking, which you unlock for beating 3 Halo 3 campaign missions co-op. And then there's the Acrophobia Skull, which is probably the dumbest thing they've ever added to Halo, but I love it so much.
It breaks the game.
Literally, we've broken the game using it.
Yeah. We have crashed the game.
It's literally just a Halo 3, quote, jetpack, unquote. You just jump, and you just take off. And that's it. That's the skull. It's fucking great.
Alright, bro, I'm about to head out.
Literally. That's exactly what it is.
We have literally crashed the game trying to use it, because we were on, Savo Highway?
Yeah.
And it, went through this cave, just flying through it, and then the game just, said error, and then stopped.
Once we unlock that skull, which to unlock specifically the Acrophobia Skull, you need to get 343 flying enemy kills. We then proceeded to spend, I would say maybe at least the next hour, just literally flying through campaign levels to see what we could and couldn't do.
See how fast we could do it.
Yeah, we were speedrunning at that point. How we accidentally became Halo 3 speedrunners. I got through an invisible wall at one point.
Yes.
We crashed the game several times. We did, on the level of the Covenant, the Hornet-only section without a Hornet.
We did it by hijacking Banshees.
Yeah, because you don't actually get in the Banshees, or, well, you do, but the second you get out of the Banshees, you blow up. So we would hijack it and immediately get out, so they just blew up. It was, or at least that's what I was doing. I don't know what you were doing.
I know. I was trying to find AA Wraith.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Because it won't shoot you because you're like right in front of it, but it won't let you like board it to plant a grenade on it.
The acrophobia skull is probably the dumbest thing they've ever added, but the greatest thing they've ever added. And I wish they'd add it to every other Halo game.
Yeah.
Let's see. On top of that, they added new Forge items to Halo Reach.
This I like.
They added new drivable vehicles and some not drivable vehicles and some new scenery and some new structures. Probably the most interesting bits are the vehicles. So you got the Saber. The only way I can describe it is the space fighter jet from that one mission.
From Long Night of Solace and Reach.
It's the only way I can think of describing it for people who don't know what a Saber is just by the name. They also added the Seraph, which is the Covenant version of the Saber. They added the Transport Warthog, which is just the Warthog but with no gun on it. They added 3 new types of Falcons. The Transport Falcon, the Nose Gun Falcon, and the Grenade Launcher Falcon, which were all things that were previously featured in the campaign. More specifically, the New Alexandria level, I think it's what it's called.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, it's that or Exodus, and I can never remember which one.
I think that they should replace all normal Falcons in multiplayer maps with the Nose Gun Falcon.
They should.
Just because it makes it easier to use, because no one ever wants to get in the Falcon with you.
Yeah, but then that also kind of takes the point away from having the guns on the Falcon, though. Because what if you do want to get people in there? Or you want to get into the guns, but someone just gets in and takes off immediately to be off on their own.
That's also true, but then they're just mean.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know.
Sort of like how with the Scorpion you don't need a gunner, but a lot of
It's
times
always nice
people
to
will take
have one.
Yeah.
Options are always nice.
Let's see. Other things they added. They added drivable civilian vehicles, like the Oni van.
I love those.
A semi-truck with a flatbed. I think they finally added the forklift to Forge, or was the forklift always in Forge?
No, the forklift, they just added it.
They added the forklift. They added the cart.
Son of the cart.
What about the Teslas?
No, not those.
No.
Frick.
We haven't been graced with a Tesla even in a video game. Then some non-drivable vehicles, but they're also vehicles. They just added the Pelican? Nope.
The what?
The Pelican.
There you go.
They added the Pelican, the Spirit, and the Phantom as kind of just like scenery vehicles. And then there's like other structures and whatnot that were like ripped from the Timberland Combat Evolved Anniversary map and whatnot. That it's not as interesting. They added 2 new rocks, driftwood, some walls, and I think a new tree. Which is always nice to have new stuff in Forge, especially when the game is really close to its 10-year anniversary.
Yeah.
Its 10-year anniversary is in like a month or 2, I think. When is
What's
September?
weird about... I don't know.
2 months from now.
2 months from now? We're coming close on Halo Reach's 10-year anniversary then. That's wild to think that it's still very much alive and kicking 10 years later.
What's weird about the tree that they added in Forge is that it doesn't really match Forge World.
No, it doesn't. It's like a different color altogether.
Yeah, I think it's more suited for like maybe a Combat Evolved map.
That map was specifically ripped from Timberland as well. Not the map, the tree.
That's probably why.
And Timberland is a very dark green map, while Forge World is very much like a light minty green.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking when I first saw it. I'm like, this looks like Timberland.
Because I think it's specifically the one in the middle of the river where the Spartan laser spawns.
Oh, yeah.
Not that I know the map that well.
I know what you're talking about.
But then on top of that, they added some new stuff to Combat Evolved as well. In the sense of visor colors and weapon and vehicle skins.
Yeah, the visor colors are super good.
Something that no one asked for, that's totally optional and you can turn off so you don't even see it, but I'm happy that they added. I don't think I'll get any of them because I don't play Combat Evolved multiplayer because it's so fucking broken. But it's there and it's cool. There's every visor color under, like, the visor colors are basically every color under the goddamn sun. It's absurd how many visor colors there are.
There's like the pearlescent ones that look really cool.
Yeah, those ones look great.
There's some specifically for like the Covenant weapons. There's like brute versions of all of them. Not just the plasma rifle, but like all of them. There's just like red Covenant weapons for everything, which is cool. Which I don't understand how that would work for weapons that you don't spawn with, but hey, I don't know. Maybe it's like Warzone when you get in the vehicle, it just puts the skin on it. I don't know. So when you pick the gun up, it just has the skin on it.
Probably.
But then for Covenant weapon or vehicles, there's also like the Ultra variant from Halo 5.
It's like white.
It's just really cool. It's stuff that no one asked for, but they're doing, and it's really cool. Although, I wish they'd do that for games I actually played, like Halo 3 or Halo 2. Or Halo
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's cool, and hopefully, and from what I can tell anyways, the whole, like, the Combat Evolved customization stuff is being very well received, so who knows, maybe they will add that stuff to the other games. Who knows? They probably just started with Combat Evolved because of how easy it was and how simple the game was to, like, add new stuff to. Because it'd probably be way more complicated to add, like, vehicle skins and weapon skins to Reach and shit. But
Yeah, I hope that they keep doing that, because one of the things I liked about Halo 5 was just how many skins that there were.
Yeah,
like
there were so
I love
many.
the
It was
I
so
love the
good.
Boomco assault rifle just because it's a super bright red, like a blindingly bright red. And I love like Lord of the Fries.
Oh, that was a great pistol.
Yeah, it was so good.
Unpopular opinion, since we're talking about Halo on PC. If they added Halo 5 to PC, I think I would actually enjoy it more.
It seems like that kind of game, honestly.
It does. It really does. Halo 5 totally missed the market on their player base. It should have been a PC game, not an Xbox game.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's about it for Halo at the moment now. Now? What the fuck am I trying to say? I don't fucking know.
All right. You mind if we take a quick piss break?
Oh, what are you, a little piss baby?
I have 4 drinks. Why?
You're right, I need to go piss too. I'll be right back.
All right. I'll ask that you guys keep recording for the sake of making things easier to edit.
I'll be back.
All right. Grant, how many games you got left?
All
4.
of them, knowing him.
4. One of them we already talked about though, and one of them I just kind of threw on there last second because we just wanted to mention it. And one of them I'm currently playing, so I can't get a full opinion on. But one of them I have completed.
All right. Go ahead.
Okay, so you know what we have too much of on this podcast?
Games.
Yes, but also
Star Wars.
positivity.
What?
We
I
always
hate
talk
you.
about how good games are. I want to talk about a game that I thought was actually very mediocre.
Okay. I'm thoroughly invested. Go on.
I played Code Vein. Now, if I were to describe that game, it'd be Anime Souls.
Anime Souls.
It feels like a direct, almost like a direct copy of Dark Souls, but if you just threw it, I don't know, through an anime studio, you get this. And it just, I don't even know, it just doesn't feel right.
The
Like,
look of
it
it
was-
makes me think something more along the lines of Anime May Cry.
Anime May Cry.
It kind
Because
of has that
the box
style.
art looks a lot like Devil May Cry 5's box art.
Yeah, it has kind of that style, but it gameplay wise is literally just Dark Souls.
Oh yeah, I'm looking at a screenshot of the gameplay. Yeah, it looks like a Dark Souls menu.
It is literally just anime Dark Souls, but it just does not feel like as doesn't feel like it has anywhere near as much polish as a Dark Souls game. First of all, there's not a ton of enemy variety, which isn't a huge deal to me, but it still is noticeable. A lot of the enemies are pretty similar throughout the entire game. It feels like it tries to have a story that makes you care, but also take the Dark Souls approach and kind of leave stuff pretty vague.
What the?
But and I feel like if you're gonna do that, have it be like Sekiro, where you have like just like the bare minimum to understand what's going on, and not exactly have like and not try to make like everything, like not try to explain everything. Because Sekiro, if you want, it gives you enough to pretty much understand what you're doing, why you're doing it, yada yada yada. That's about it. Gives you the important characters, you're good to go. And then if you want to know more, you can look at item descriptions, all that kind of stuff. Code Vein, it tries to explain everything, but it doesn't explain everything. But there's stuff that I feel like it should. Because it's like, oh, you're a revenant. I don't know what a revenant is. I like it explains it at some point. I still couldn't tell you what exactly it is, but
Well, whatever it is, it sounds cool.
yeah, I mean, you're kind of like a vampire, I want to say.
It's
but
not cool anymore.
but like, I don't know if like you're someone who died, if you were a human who died and became a revenant, or you were a human that was turned, because all the revenants were humans before, but I don't know how they got from human to revenant. It tried. There are times I felt like I should really care about more what's going on, but I just really didn't. Like, like there's the two
Like, is it
characters
trying
that
to,
are like
like,
talking to
is
each
it-
other, they're like crying, that kind of stuff. I'm just like, what's happening?
Okay, I was gonna say, is it just like taking emotional moments and just shoving it in your face and be like, look how sad this is?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it is. And it also did not do a good job with the gameplay of kind of like balancing it, because it has it so that you have to go through it with a partner, or you don't have to, but it balances everything as if you were going through it with a partner, because you have an NPC with you for a lot of the time, but you can choose to go without the NPC. But if you go without the NPC, it is very difficult because it is balanced to have someone with you. But then
Why
there's
is there
also
the option to not have someone.
well,
Last minute decision,
for people who
probably.
want that challenge, I guess. But then there's also the bosses. The bosses are actually pretty cool in it, but those are either you do it with the partner and it's super easy, or you do it without the partner and it's super hard. Some of them are actually like really good without the partner. But if you do it solo, you have a problem in that the staggering in that game is so broken. You get hit, your animation to recover is seriously maybe like 2 seconds, which in a game like that is like an eternity.
Ugh.
That sounds painful.
So it is so easy to get stun locked to death, especially if you're going after like 3 or more enemies. Which is where your partner comes in, but I don't think that it should be balanced around having a partner like that. And there's so many times where bosses just have moves that can one-shot you. Like, it's stupid. And also, from what I've seen online, apparently using a two-handed sword in the game is just absolutely broken. Like, strength-wise, you can just demolish anything.
So
Well,
it's just
magic-
like nothing is balanced?
It could be balanced better. I wouldn't say, like, I mean, I tried the two-handed build at one point. I didn't think it was like super duper unbalanced, but I could see where they were coming from. But there's also like magic builds in it, which I actually went for most of the game. Looking online, people said that the magic builds can kind of suck because they use a weapon called a bayonet, which is just a gun. It's just a gun with a sword on the end of it, like a normal bayonet would be. But melee damage wise, those are kind of weak. But I think I managed to like exploit the game and make it like super duper powerful, because I win most of the game just fine like that. But yeah, it's just kind of weird. There's only 5 weapon types, which kind of is annoying when you go into like Dark Souls and something like that. I'm gonna be comparing it to Dark Souls a lot because it's copying it.
It's very
One look at that UI and you're like, yeah, okay, gotcha.
Yeah, and so there's only 5 weapon types, which is hard to. I don't really like that, because in Souls you have all kinds of stuff. You have daggers, rapiers, broadswords, giant hammers, giant great swords. You have all kinds of like ways to cast magic, that kind of stuff. And you only Code Vein, there's only one-handed swords, two-handed swords, spears, hammers, and a bayonet, and that's it. It gets no different than that.
That's such a weird choice of weapons.
I know. But yeah, that's a lot of bad stuff. A lot of stuff I didn't really like, but there was one there. actually is some cool stuff about it, in that instead of like picking a class at the beginning and like sticking with that throughout the entire game, it gives you these things called blood codes. And that, like, it's kind of a class that you can switch to on the fly, and you don't need to worry about, like, min-maxing stats. So, like, if you want to go with a magic build or something like that, you can just switch over to your magic blood code, and boom, you can use that if you want to. Really, the only things that take time when it comes to using a class is just, like, upgrading weapons and, like, your armor, which is called a blood veil. It really only comes down to that. Yeah, that's really cool. And also, I have to say, the character customization in that game is top notch. I loved it so much. I spent too much time in there.
Is it like
long?
I couldn't even tell you, but it was a very long time.
Is it like Dark Souls customization, where your first session is just character customization? Like, all right, that's it. Time to play the game later.
Well, for me, it was kind of, but it's also kind of different from Dark Souls in that. Normally in Dark Souls, people mess with their face and that kind of stuff. With a Code Vein, you can't, like, edit individual parts of the face. It gives you, like, face templates, which, honestly, I kind of like more because I never mess with, like, the fine-tuning face details and stuff in games. But where a lot of the customization comes from is accessories and colors.
Now it's alright, that's good. That's pretty good.
Because it doesn't... Your armor in the game is just called a blood veil. It's just kind of like almost like a cloak that you wear the whole game, and you actually get to choose your normal clothes that you wear throughout the game, and the character customization. And then you can choose like what goes on the clothes, if you want like to wear a backpack or something like that, if you want like little satchels all over yourself, and if you want to wear headphones. And it's really cool because like if you pick headphones, they don't have to stay on your head. They can go, you can have them attached to your leg if you want them to. You can have them, you can rotate it as freely as you want to, make them any size, make them huge, make them tiny, have them go around your neck, have them go around your face, have them go around your waist if you want to. And yeah, if you want to, you can. And it's like every single accessory in it isn't bound to where it starts at. So if you select the headphones, yeah, they'll stay around your ears. But then there's different like positions that the game will put them in. That's there for every single accessory in there. And so, like, I can put buttons that I would like put on clothes. I can just like stick one to my nose if I wanted to. And yeah, I just absolutely love the character customization. And honestly, I would, if I were to recommend this game, I would think that you would actually enjoy this game to an extent.
Yeah, because
I think you would hate the game.
When you talk about that character customization, it feels like one of those games where like I would like it solely because I got to play as this really great design I was able to come up with.
Yeah, and honestly, that's a lot of the reason why I at least sort of liked it. Like, the game wasn't terrible. I might be exaggerating like some of the stuff, but it wasn't a terrible game. It's just I did not enjoy it as much as like I would a lot of other games I've played. Like, I just kind of beat him like, okay, I'm done.
Yeah, that's fair.
Oh, and I haven't even talked about the DLC. So
There's DLC?
yes, because I bought it on sale. I bought like the Super Edition on sale, and so in it there's this place called the Depths, and I could describe it as like Mementos to Persona 5, in that you don't have to do it really, but you can if you want to, like to grind for some stuff. And it's not like totally randomly generated like Mementos is, but it's just sort of like these little sections of levels you go through, beat some enemies, then you fight a boss at the end of it. Kind of cool. You get some XP, you get some weapons. Cool. But the DLC for this is $10 each. Luckily I didn't buy it for that price. It literally just adds another one of those maps and a unique boss at the end. And it is so underwhelming.
$10 for that?
Yes.
Do you know what I could get for $10 on the cartel market?
Too much stuff.
Exactly.
But like, it doesn't even have new enemies. The areas don't look unique at all. And it's also scaled to if you have played New Game Plus. Why? So it is very difficult.
What?
fuck? Why?
It's like stupid challenge where it's not so much like difficult but fair. It's literally you will get one-shotted by most of the enemies in this place. But I will have to say the boss of the first DLC is actually pretty good. I didn't like the bosses of the second and third ones. Yeah, that DLC was crap. I hated it. I am not exaggerating. It was very bad.
So
all
overall,
three
would
of them.
you give this game what out of 10?
I would probably give it like a 5, maybe a 6.
Yeah.
Like,
It sounds
like-
like there's a lot of good things there, but like the majority of like the stuff that could be great is just mediocre.
Yeah, like if you go into it not thinking too much about it, you'll enjoy it. Like I see plenty of people on like Reddit or something saying it's like a really great game and they loved it to death. Which I mean, hey, if you love it to death, more power to you. It was just if you go into it not thinking too much about it, I think you'll have a good time. I think that if you're interested in that, like I said, Kishta, I think that you would actually, if you just kind of like go into it without thinking too much about it, I think that you specifically would actually kind of like it, mainly because like the art style and that kind of stuff, and I know that you would like the character customization. And there is a little bit of story to be had. A little bit, enough to kind of understand what's going on. I just didn't really think it was anything
Enough to be
significant.
considered a story.
Yes.
Oh fuck, that's a full price. I'm gonna wait for that to go on sale.
Yeah, I would do that.
How much is it?
Definitely wait for it to go on sale. It's $60.
Ew!
I bought it on sale for less than, I bought like the deluxe edition or whatever for less than that on sale. So yeah, definitely wait till it goes on sale, but check it out if like a Souls game interests you, but don't go into it thinking you'll have the same like polish and quality as a Souls game.
Okay. I think I've got like 2 games left, and most are gonna be pretty quick. How are we looking on games to talk about?
I've got one more, but I haven't finished it yet.
I can skip over the rest of mine. I spent a lot of time on my 2.
All right, because my 2, they won't be super quick, but they also won't be super long.
I guess mine, it would be like first impressions of the game, which are usually important.
All right, I'll go mine, yours, and then mine, and then we'll go to the next thing. How about that?
Okay.
All right. Let's talk about DUSK really quick. I don't know if have you guys seen anything about DUSK at all?
No.
No. Well,
Alright.
maybe. I don't know.
No.
I'll look it up.
All right, so you know how like a lot of like modern indie games are like, hey, you know those PS1 graphics? Let's make that a thing. Let's make that our aesthetic.
Oh, yep, I see that immediately once I Google it.
Yeah. So DUSK is basically just that. It's what it seems like to me is just like an homage game to games like classic Doom and Quake, specifically Quake because of the way this game plays.
Oh, yeah.
It is.
Look at that.
There's a bit of a story, but it's really just about the gameplay, where you go in. Okay, let me just say that I don't know if I can think of a game off the top of my head where the second that I moved, I was like, I love it. This is the best thing.
Question, I have a question.
Yes.
Looking at pictures on the internet, what's with the people in overalls with bags on their heads and chainsaws?
Yeah, it looks
Yeah.
like Pyramid Head from Silent Hill.
They scare me.
Oh yeah, that's part of the aesthetic. So essentially, the game is you going around finding all these different weapons and then killing these sort of like cultists.
Is that dual wielding pump action shotguns?
Yes, he is.
How do you do that?
don't worry about it.
This game's $20. Hell yeah!
Yeah. So I remember I got this game because this was like coming off. I got this game like this game came to my attention like coming off of Doom Eternal, and I saw it and I was like, this looks great, so I'm gonna get it when I get the chance. And then I did, and immediately fell in love with the way this game feels. Like I said, it's very
From Doom Eternal to Dusk. Those are 2 completely different looking games.
Oh
Yes.
yeah, but they definitely feel pretty close. But like how should I start with it? Like it's very specific in its aesthetic, and it's very much like taking inspiration from, like I said, classic Doom and Quake. And from what I've heard, it's like Oh yeah, basically it's like I'm back in the day playing these games, but then like later on in the game you'll get to levels where the design of the levels are like, okay, yeah, there's no way they could have done this like way back when. Like it's basically just like I'm thinking of it as like it seems like a game where if you think of like the developers like talking about like an old game and saying like we wish you could have done this but the tech didn't allow us to do that, Dusk seems like okay, let's take that idea of like taking an old game and polishing it to modern standards and then adding things that could not have been added when the game initially came out. That's basically what Dusk is like. And I love that it's super simple where there's like a tiny bit of a story to an extent, but it's more of just like all stuff that's just an excuse to actually fight these things like the cultists and then like these like experiments and like these different bosses and whatnot. And then you fighting all these things with like very super basic like video game weapons where it's like you get your pistols, you get your shotguns, you get your bigger shotgun, you get your nade launcher, you get your hunting rifle, your assault rifle. Then it also has like melee weapons that you get at the beginning that you start out with, so if you run out of ammo then you can use those. And there's also one very interesting weapon which is a crossbow that can basically shoot through walls.
That's which is literally wall hacking.
Sort of, not really. But it's like the only interesting weapon you get. But at the same time, it's also like, you know, like I said, dual wielding pump action shotguns, you know, dual wielding pistols, you know. It's taking like very basic video gamey concepts and like using the taking inspiration from very old game designs and just the aesthetic as well of them and putting that into a game that feels fucking incredible. There's really not much else to say. It's like if you love Doom, especially classic Doom, and if you were someone who played Quake way back when, then this is a game that you will instantly love. And even if you haven't played those games and you're like me where you've just played like modern Doom games, then this is also a game that you'll love as well. Super fast paced, pretty dumb fun.
Dumb fun.
Dumb fun.
That's the best kind of fun.
Yep. Alright, hey, what's your thing?
So, a disclaimer. I've barely scratched the surface of this game because this game is huge. I've played maybe about 2 hours of it, but it's still a big boy of a game. I'm playing Ghost Recon Breakpoint.
I'm interested.
The direct sequel to Ghost Recon Wildlands, which
we never
of
beat.
us have played?
Did Keisha ever get it?
I don't
Keisha,
think
did you ever get it?
No,
I never played any of them.
No, because we played with John.
Oh
We had
yeah,
4
and
people.
Tyler.
Never finished Wildlands. Really should go back and do that at some point.
We should. I think I deleted it though.
So did I. Well, I've moved to a new Xbox since then too, so I never
yeah.
reinstalled it. But
That is a
playing
long
Breakpoint.
game, Wildlands.
Yeah, I'm playing Breakpoint, which I got on the Ubisoft store, the Ultimate Edition, which is like normally $120 for about $10. And I would honestly say it's kind of like, I look at it kind of as like a combination of Just Cause 4 and Wildlands. Because the environment and like the world kind of reminds me of Just Cause 4, but the gameplay is exactly like Wildlands, but a lot harder. Basically, the game starts in. You go in, and there's 4 helicopters. And you're going in because like a supply ship was shot down off the coast of this island, and you're gonna go in and find out why. All 4 of your helicopters go down to something unknown, and then slowly you watch almost everyone else get executed or whatever. And then you're kind of left on your own to figure out why the ship was shot down, or why the supply ship was like sunk or whatever, and to find survivors of the 32 ghosts that went in.
32?
I think it was 32 specifically because there was like 4 helicopters. I think they said 32 anyways. I don't remember. So far, the only reason I can attribute the fact that it's a direct sequel to Wildlands is because the AI the AI squad mates from Wildlands are in the game, and you're still Nomad, which is the player character. And then they reference Bolivia a few times, and that's about it. But besides that, it could be like its own. Well, I mean, it is its own separate game, but it's technically a direct continuation.
Where does it take place?
I have no fucking idea. Though it's not based on a real place, that's for sure.
Oh, so it's not
Wildlands was based in Bolivia. Breakpoint, I think, is based on an island called Aurora or something like that, but it's definitely not real. I think because Wildland faced some backlash from the Bolivian government for saying, "Hey, you're making us look bad."
I mean, they pretty much said that the entire place was run by the cartel.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
So, I don't blame Bolivia for that.
That'll do it.
So, I don't really blame the Bolivian government for not liking Wildlands, but Breakpoint is definitely not a real place. I don't know how long the game's been out, but I think it was like 6 days ago they released an update that actually added AI squad mates to the game.
they didn't have those before?
I think that was part of. I think that was like a feature originally, but then either some people complained about it or they just thought, we'll add them and it'll be optional or something. Because if you're thinking about it, unless you're playing specifically co-op, at the very beginning of the game, you can only find 3 others of the 32 ghosts that went in, 2 of which are mortally wounded.
Well,
So, or well, 2 or at least 1 is, maybe 2 of them, I don't remember. But it's fun because it takes what we wanted out of Wildlands, being the whole Ghost Recon part. We wanted to be like stealthy and quiet, and actually put the stealthy and quiet in the game. And if you don't go stealthy and quiet, you're gonna have a bad day.
All right.
It's challenging, and it's meant to actually be played stealthy, unlike Wildlands, which it should have been. It's not Wildlands. I would say is like a run and gun. Breakpoint, I would say, is a be quiet or die.
Gotcha.
So, I'll come back with that more once I've played some more of it.
That's fine.
Oh, and the Terminator's in it.
Wait, what?
okay, hold on. You need to explain.
I don't know anything about it. I was just looking at the menu. I was just looking at like the story menu, because you know how like they have like that from Wildlands. There's like that tree, and you can like pick who you go after.
Yeah.
It's kind of like that, but you don't really get to pick. But I was looking at like the side missions, and the Terminator was there.
Like actually the Terminator?
The Terminator.
Oh my god.
Arnold
Like
himself.
Oh wow. I mean, the Predator was in Wildlands.
What? Oh yeah, it was. And then because it's also a Tom Clancy game, Sam Fisher is also in it.
Nice.
But I've only seen references to him. I haven't seen him yet.
Well,
I think
you
he was
said
also
you're
in
pretty early
Wildlands.
on in the game, right?
Yeah, I've been about like 2 hours, and most of those 2 hours were spent walking. Because it's a big ass map.
Alright, and then I'll go ahead and hit up the last thing. So I've been playing Devil May Cry 3, Dante's Awakening.
Ooh.
Alright, so Grant,
cannot
since
get enough
I
of
know
Devil May Cry.
since I know you're the only other person that's played DMC here, what do you know of like the history of DMC?
Nothing. Literally nothing. Alright. Wes has tried to explain to me before. I retain none of the information.
Alright, so I'll start with like the context for this game. So Devil May Cry 1, there's a bit where you fight this guy named Nello Angelo who turns out to be Dante's brother Virgil. And that was a situation where it's just like, oh, Dante had a brother. Okay. Devil May Cry 3 is basically an extension of that. It's a prequel of the Devil May Cry series where this is before Devil May Cry 1, I believe, like directly. Because the timeline goes Devil May Cry 3, then 1, then 4, then 2, which I don't know why they did it like that. It makes more sense to have 2 after 1, but whatever. So Devil May Cry 3 is the prequel, and it expands upon the relationship between Dante and Virgil. The premise is that a tower erupts from the ground, and in that tower contains the power of Sparta, which is Dante's dad and Virgil's dad as well. And Well, that's the beginning of the game. The entire like the beginning of like every single Devil May Cry game, I'm pretty sure is like Dante, the legendary Dark Knight Sparta did the thing, and now we're here. So
It's a spoiler.
the goal. So Dante goes to this tower so that he can confront Virgil because because Virgil wants to attain the power that is inside of the tower, alongside this guy named
The
Arkham.
power in the tower.
He wants the power tower. Yes.
The tower of power.
So
Sweet to be
Dante
sour.
has to stop him, and that's the game.
Nice.
What's kind of interesting about this game? So I pretty much I'm pretty sure before I played Devil May Cry 5, I touched up on like the entire history of the game, like chronologically speaking. So I pretty much knew what was going to happen. But one thing I was super interested to see was just how much like inspiration Devil May Cry 5 and 4 too, but Devil May Cry 5 specifically went, because imagine like Devil May Cry 5 but with like older level design, and you only have Rebellion, and then not only Rebellion, but like the amount of weapons that you have are very similar to things that you see in later games. It's basically, this game is sort of the to an extent, it's pretty much the foundation of what made the other games, like Devil May Cry 4 and 5. So
I hope that's what the previous games in the series do.
Yeah, because Devil May Cry 1 was sort of like this game that did this one interesting thing with its combat, and then you had Devil May Cry 2, which is the bastard child of the series.
That's what I've heard. I've
Yeah.
heard that it's very bad and you should skip it.
Oh yeah, and Devil May Cry 3 is literally just the creator of Devil May Cry. Let me real quick. So Devil May Cry 2 happened. The reason why it's so bad is because of some unnamed director that came in, fucked up everything, and then left, leaving the guy who made Devil May Cry 1 as the person whose name got tied to it. And the reason why Devil May Cry 3 exists is because the director's like, no, we're not fucking ending it on 2. We're doing another one. So then he did. And he not only polished the game so that it feels way better, but he also made it so that there's actually much more meat in the story. Because the story of Devil May Cry is pretty much like a very tiny subset of the game, and you can pretty much go into these games not really caring about the story.
That's what I was 5.
Yeah, with 5, it actually does put a lot of meat onto the story, like way more so than any of the other games, which is why one of the reasons why I like it so much. But what I like about Devil May Cry 3 is that it's also the same thing, where it's like a bunch of wacky shit, but at the end of the day, there is like an underlying narrative there that does have a lot of meaning. And when you put it in the context of the actual overall story of the game, it just makes so many connections that are great. Like, one thing that was great about Devil May Cry 5, as like someone, well, this isn't me specifically, but like as someone who may have gone, like, who's been with this game forever and then played Devil May Cry 5 and seeing things like the Garion horse and Cerberus again, and then of course the final reveal of Virgil coming back in Devil May Cry 5, it's the most insane thing. But then I went back and played Devil May Cry 3 because it was, first of all, it was on sale, and because it's like the sort of foundation of a lot of Devil May Cry 5. And now I get it, and it's fucking awesome. There's not much to say about the gameplay because it's not too dissimilar to anything else, though there is like a slight bit of jank, and I'm not sure if that's because of the port or because I'm playing it on Switch. But for the most part, it's just like a game where it's interesting to see like what sort of... I think it's very clear that Devil May Cry 5 was basing a lot of its stuff on Devil May Cry 3, both as in terms of gameplay and in terms of story. Because, like I said, in Devil May Cry 1, Virgil was just kind of this person that existed and doesn't exist anymore because you kill him in Devil May Cry 1. When you see who Virgil is in Devil May Cry 3, you're like, oh shit, yeah, this guy's a massive deal. Like, he's the brother of Dante, right? But he's also like... he gets introduced as like the much cooler version of Dante, who's like the very serious like weeb of the Sons of Sparta, where there's a bit that pretty much encapsulated very perfectly, where there's a boss fight, you fight a boss named what's his name, Beowulf, or something along those lines, or at least that's the name of the weapon that you get off of him. And you fight him as Dante, and then at the end of the fight, Beowulf gets blinded and then he fucks off. And then later on in the game, Beowulf comes and finds Virgil, and Virgil kills him in an instant and takes his weapon. So the weapon that you would have gotten as Dante now is owned by Virgil. And then after that, you have to fight Virgil with this weapon that he took from you, basically. And I think that's probably the moment that very perfectly encapsulates sort of the tone of this game, of not necessarily just stopping your brother, but stopping your brother who is like leagues above you. And then seeing how the conflict between these two plays out throughout the story is interesting, because it's not just like, oh, you're my brother but you're bad so I have to fight you. There's there's like bits in the game where it's very clear that these two are like, they have like a very distinct respect for each other, but they're only fighting against each other because they oppose, and like they have opposing views. Like it's also a thing where it's very much like the point of Devil May Cry 5 was the fact that Dante and Virgil are acting like dumb kids and need to stop. And then seeing how that plays out in Devil May Cry 3, where it's just like, give that sword to me. No way, you got your own. Well, I want yours too. It just seeing like the interactions between these two are great, and then it's kind of seeing like what happened, like how the events of Devil May Cry 5 play into the context of like Devil May Cry 1, and then of course Devil May Cry 5 later on, like way later. It's super interesting to kind of see how the pieces fall in line with each other, and being able to like look at these things and be like, oh, so that's what happened there. Because the thing that with Devil May Cry 5 was that despite I started on Devil May Cry 5, but even though I'd learned like the lore before I actually played the game, seeing like how much Devil May Cry 5 got from Devil May Cry 3 is super interesting. Like stuff like I said, the Garion horse, Cerberus, and then seeing why Virgil's such a big deal, but also kind of getting to see like how the combat is very much alike compared to Devil May Cry 3 was also super interesting. So far, I'm actually only into mission... Actually, no, I'm pretty close to the end. I'm on mission 19 out of 20. So that means I'm very close to the final boss fight with Virgil, which is... Whew. Alright, we're doing it again. Because with Virgil, you fight him 3 different times in the game. You have your initial fight, your fight with when he gets the Beowulf weapon, and then you fight him again at the last time, and it's... I don't know, is it really a spoiler? Whatever, you fight him 3 times, that's all I'm saying.
Well, I mean, when I was playing Doom, you told me I go to hell 3 times, and that's not a spoiler.
Well, that's not a spoiler, but like with each time you fight Virgil, there's something new, and I don't know if I want to talk about that.
Well, as long as you don't say what's new, it's not a spoiler.
True, but I also did talk about what's new in the second fight.
Well, don't say any more.
Okay.
You're ruining the fun. Simple as that.
Fair. Alright, I'll just say Devil May Cry 3 is fun and interesting, and especially given the fact that I started with Devil May Cry 5, and seeing how things happened is great.
Yeah, Virgil and Dante go like back and forth a lot throughout the whole series, right? Whether that's like together or against each other.
Yeah. That's the thing, though. That's the thing about the relationship. The fact that, like, they fight each other and they're very hell-bent on killing each other, but they also are, like, they're very much acting like dumb kids. And they're very much... And they have a very deep respect for each other. One thing that's kind of crazy is that Virgil smiles so much in Devil May Cry 5. And he, like, does once ever in Devil May Cry 3.
I don't remember what it is, like... Does Dante in 5 say something about like they're tied or something like that, or like when he's fighting Virgil?
Oh yeah, that was at the very end where there's a sort of secret ending where if you watch all the credits, then you get to see them fight each other in hell, and he's like, "Score 1 for Dante. I'm up 1. Where did you learn to count? We're even."
Yeah,
they're very much like I said, they're very much acting like dumb kids. And I love that the point of Devil May Cry 5 is that the thing I love about Devil May Cry 5 is that's the point, and Nero has to come in and say, you two need to stop.
Yeah.
Oh man. But yeah, seeing how Virgil was once, and then how much of how significant that is compared when you think about the rest of the Devil May Cry series is super cool. All right. It's enough games. Let's get into fucking shows, which I do not have a lot of.
I have one thing. And it's
I think
not
I also
new.
have just like I have like 2 things, and one of them I only have notes on. Grant, how about you start?
For shows?
Yeah.
Well, so I really am not into shows that much, but I have continued to watch Jojo, and I finished Stardust Crusaders, part 3 of the show, and I have to say I very much enjoyed it, but it is very different from parts 1 and 2.
Oh yeah, it is.
Like
Get ready, because stands are a central thing now.
Yeah, like I don't even like. No, it was really weird to like watch it. It was also kind of cool because it's not so much like the trope of, oh man, this person's more powerful than me. I need to train and get better so that I can be powerful and beat this person.
Yes.
It's more of like this person has a stand that works this interesting way. How can we beat that stand? We need to figure it out and like pretty much solve the puzzle. And it's always cool because you're like, oh, how are they gonna beat this stand user now? Instead of, oh man, how are they gonna get more powerful?
Yes, that's what I love about stands as a concept, and like, this kind of concept exists in all these different forms. But the fact that it's not like this person is just stronger, it's that they have a ability that either you need to figure out why it's like this, or you need to figure out like a way around it. Because there's some stand abilities that are like objectively stronger, but it's less about the strength of it and more about how do you actually beat this.
Yeah.
I think Dio's the World is like a great example of it, because
Yeah,
the ability is, the ability is that he can stop time. How the fuck do you beat that? And then that's basically what the final fight is all about.
Yeah.
And the answer is so it's the same as mine.
Yeah. I gotta say though, I liked Dio in the build up to the end of it. I thought that the fight with him at the end was underwhelming.
Really?
Yes. Like, I don't know. I just didn't really have a whole lot going on, because a lot of it would be like, he stops time, and he talks a little bit, then he's like, huh? What? Like, he sees like Jotaro like do something, he's like, oh, what is that? What are you doing? And then like it keeps going, and it's just like whenever he uses his ability, it's just like him talking, and then like goes on to do something, and I don't even know how to describe it, but
I think I get where you're coming from. But then at the same time, like the build up to the reveal of his ability was intense as shit.
yeah, that I gotta say that was pretty cool. But yeah, like I think that for me it's just like built up all the way to like when they get to his palace and he's like standing at the top of the stairs looking at Polnareff, like all the smoke and like the lights and all that kind of stuff, like, oh, this is so epic, it's about to go down. But then like, I mean, it went down and it was still enjoyable, but I'm just kind of like, I've seen better.
Do you understand why Polnareff kept going down the stairs at that moment though?
I think so. Like,
It is the funniest concept of like the reason to mess with Polnareff. Dio literally stopped time, picked him up, put him down a couple steps, and then went back to the top of the stairs.
yeah.
And he's like,
It's
"Oh,
like
so you
such
went
an
down."
inconvenience.
It is like the best form of shit fuckery, of just stupid shit. It's like just a dumb prank. It's the best thing ever.
Yeah.
But like one thing I can't remember whose video it was, but I remember I saw a video a while back of like what's the best fight in JoJo, and the answer was Dio versus Jotaro, because it's the most JoJo thing ever. I mean, Road Roller.
Yeah.
Need I say more?
Yeah. But like there was the part where like Dio thought that Jotaro was like dead, and so he was doing all this stuff to like make sure he was dead. And that I just felt like dragged on for a while, because I'm like, if you want to make sure he's dead, go and do something that will for sure kill him. Like, why do you have to check? I wonder if his heart is still beating. Then like put your ear to the floor, or like I wonder if he's still breathing. I'm like, just kill him.
Yeah, I can see where you're talking about, where it says like it's a little bit more drawn out, and I don't think, if I'm remembering right, most of like pretty much every other part where it's like the final battle isn't like dragged out like that. But at the same time, like later parts, it's not just like main protagonist and enemy, it's also like the other people that are involved.
Yeah.
Actually, part 4 is kind of like that, but it's much more. I won't say anything because you still have yet to watch that.
Yeah. Speaking of which, I might need the Crunchyroll soon because there is a dub out for 4. I've heard it's really good. I watched the first episode in the dub, but it's just weird because I think it's done by a different company who did the first 3. And I'm just like, this doesn't feel right. And also, but
I feel like with JoJo's one of those anime where it's like I can't watch it dubbed because I think it's just far inferior.
a lot of people like I've seen online have said like it's actually like one of the best dubs out there, but like of course everyone's gonna still say watch it subs. But I do have to say, I absolutely love parts 1 and 2 dub.
Yeah, those dubs are actually really fucking good.
Like, it's so over the top and ridiculous. I love it so. That's part of the reason I after watching 1, 2, and 3, I actually have to say part 2 is my favorite.
Yeah.
Because it's just so ridiculous and stupid, and I love it. And you would love part 2 of JoJo.
But yeah, because it's literally like, oh, I'll kill you. No, you won't. And then he pulls out a fucking Tommy gun out of nowhere.
And I love it when he's like talking to one of the Pillarmen in part 2, and he's like trying to come up with, when they're staying like all the spikes, he's like, I'm gonna come up with a plan. I'm gonna take this and weave it through all these spikes and all that stuff because this thing conducts Hamon. Which, first of all, I think that when they were doing Hamon, they were just coming up with it as they went.
Yeah.
But like, I'm gonna do all this, weave it through here, and it'll get him. And then the bad guy's like, haha, I see your trap, you're doing this, so that's why I did this and got through your trap.
Yes.
And just like, haha, I knew you were gonna see my trap, so I can put a trap under my trap of you cutting my trap, so therefore I cut you.
Yeah, that is literally like, there's a meme of like, you can't sum up the entirety of JoJo in one screenshot, and it was a screenshot of Joseph saying, it's like, I knew you're gonna outsmart me, so I outsmarted your outsmarting.
That's pretty much what it is.
It's just big moves all around. That's the entire show, and it's fucking incredible.
I also love, and next you're gonna say.
Yeah. One thing I love. Did you catch the moment where Joseph does that in part 3? Because he does it once.
Yes.
And it's fucking great.
Yeah, I loved it. Yeah, I really like it. I'm looking forward to part 4. I'm gonna make a decision if I want to actually go through with the dub or do a sub, but yeah.
Yeah, I'm just waiting for you to get to part 5 because that is my favorite part, and it's also the most.
I've heard the best.
It's also the best adapted part.
Yeah.
Because part 4 is great too. Like the best parts of JoJo are parts 4, 5, and then 7, and then part 5 is my personal favorite. I'm sure you'll love part 4, but part 5 is the one that I really want your opinion on.
Yeah, like. I heard that like at least from my brother that like he didn't really like part 4 that much, but after thinking about it, he's starting to like it more and more, and I think it's because going from 3 to 4 is just so different and weird that he wasn't expecting it, so he didn't really like it. But then he like after thinking about it a little bit, he's liked it more and more.
Yeah, the second you look at part 4 compared to part 3, you're like, oh shit, that's totally different.
Jotaro and Star Platinum just look odd.
Yeah. I started on part 4 because I watched JoJo around the time that part 4 was released, so I watched it and then I went back to all the other parts. And then I eventually read the manga from part 5 up. So you'll definitely find it interesting. I think you'll like it a lot, but I'm not sure if you'll like it maybe as much as the other parts.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I haven't seen it yet, so.
I'll at least tell you that it has a strong impression.
Alright.
Hi, Katie.
Alright. Aiden, what have you watched?
Very similarly to Halo 3, nothing new. I recently rewatched The Rise of Skywalker.
Really?
Ooh.
Yeah. Wasn't my first choice, but I'm kind of happy I watched it, actually. Because this is, I think, maybe the 3rd time I've seen it since it came out. And I definitely really enjoyed it this time.
Really?
Yeah. I give The Rise of Skywalker and the sequel trilogy a lot of shit, but the more I think about it, the more I do like it. It's not made for us, and that's fine. And so that doesn't mean I have to dislike it. even though some stuff about that is really fucking stupid, it doesn't make sense.
Agreed.
I still enjoy it.
The only thing I've gotten out of the sequel trilogies has always just been like, oh hey, look, it's the Thing. Do you remember that? And that's just the entire sequels.
Yeah.
The thing is like, that's what episode 7 is. Then 8 did absolutely none of that. Then 9 ramped it up to 11.
Yeah.
I feel like that's the opposite way, because I remember coming out of the theater of watching Force Awakens and being like, oh, this is super cool. All right.
Well,
and then,
or
at least
it
at the
probably
very
doesn't-
least, it seemed interesting.
It doesn't help you because you haven't seen all of it yet.
Yeah.
Okay, true.
Episode 7 is a carbon copy of Episode 4.
Okay.
It's some giant super weapon that can destroy planets, and we have to destroy it. That's the plot of the movie. That's 4 and 7.
Yeah.
I feel like, because if I know from what I've heard, the sequel trilogy has always just been like, oh, let's just like change this, because I know like it was like you have episode 7, and then the entirety of episode 8 is just, now fuck 7 though, we're gonna spend the entire movie just disassembling that, and then episode 9 is like, okay, now we need to reassemble things.
The problem is that all 3 of those were directed and written by different people.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it would have been fun. It probably would have been amazing had they just given the entire trilogy to J.J. Abrams, because I still think that The Force Awakens is a great movie. The one good movie out of that trilogy.
I think it honestly would have been fine, even if they gave it to like Ryan Johnson. Like,
As long as it was one person but for everything, it would have been fine.
Actually,
Yeah,
I don't think
the
it's
problem
the
with, like-
I don't think the problem is that it's two different people. It's two different people that are actively fighting against each other.
yeah. That's what it was, really.
Well, let's keep in mind that it was originally supposed to be 3 different people.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And then from what we've heard about what would have been Episode 9 Duel of the Fates would have been way better than The Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah, that sounded so much cooler.
It really did, and I'm sad we didn't get that. But going back and rewatching The Rise of Skywalker, it wasn't as bad as I remembered it being. However, there's one thing that pisses me off. How does the
Because Keishta hasn't seen this, remember?
I don't care about
It's not really
spoilers.
much of a spoiler though, because it's kind of like a thing that's been established along all of the movies. How the fuck do people know what Sith are?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, there's this thing with ancient Sith language on it. How the fuck do you know what that is?
And also, how was C-3PO programmed to...
Yeah, how can he
know
read
this?
it, but then he's programmed to not speak it?
Also, he was programmed by Anakin.
How does Anakin know what Sith is?
So Anakin
Yeah.
programmed him before he even knew what Siths were.
And why was Anakin programming him with Republic regulations for language?
I mean,
Yeah.
that could have been changed once 3PO went into the service of Padme,
That's also true.
or after Revenge of the Sith when their memories got wiped.
Yeah.
But it's not even the fact that 3PO can read it; it's the fact that the average everyday smuggler knows what Sith is.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like I knew it was going to be like a long time before I actually got the chance to watch Rise of Skywalker. So I did look a little bit into it, and from what I've heard, I am already like, I don't think I'm going to like this movie.
Yeah.
I know there's a bit with like Rey does a thing and Chewie dies, but then he doesn't,
Yeah,
That
and it's
was
like-
just weird.
and it's played off like, oh yeah, you have Sith powers, so of course you're naturally attuned to do bad things, and then she does the bad thing, but then it just acts like, no, it's fine though.
yeah, because like she does the bad thing, but then there's no repercussion for it.
Exactly.
That's
It's
that's one thing that the sequel trilogy.
See what will it do?
I'm drinking. Shut up. That's one thing that the sequel trilogy doesn't do well is consequences.
Yeah, because I heard it's just like, yeah, they did the thing, but then it's like, no, it's fine because good needs to win or whatever. Like, it doesn't
Yeah.
feel like anything that they do actually has any repercussions. Like, at least with like episode 8, it felt like, even though a lot of it was just like, oh hey, look at the thing, like at the very least it did have moments where for the most part,
with
it
The
was like,
Last
okay.
Jedi, at least with The Last Jedi, a good majority of the Resistance fucking died.
yeah,
Yeah.
and The only thing, like, there's only like one bit from Last Jedi that I can be like, yeah, they should have just done the thing, and that was Finn dying, because of like it was like a very big moment. And they're like, no, it's fine. No, don't worry, he's gonna live.
Okay, there was one thing in The Last Jedi that I think could have actually completely saved the movie for me if this one thing happened. If Rey joined Kylo. If Rey went with
I
him.
expected it to happen. I was like, if they did it, I would have been like, yo! And then I would have been like talking about it for 20 years, but hey, no, we're not here.
Yeah. But like, Star Wars always does this where they're like, will you join me on the dark side? And they never do it.
It's fine. No, but it's fine though, because like Anakin does it, and you're like, okay, now you know why he does. With Rey, I feel like it seemed like a last-minute decision that shouldn't have happened when Rey is like, no, we're not doing that though, because realistic. I don't even know. I don't know if I'm the right person to talk about this, but like it seems like they could have done something super interesting with that. Like that was an opportunity to do something incredibly inventive with the series that would have had people talking. But then they're just like, no, we're gonna play it safe. It's still good and evil, you know.
Unfortunately, this is a Disney property now, and I doubt they'll ever do anything like that. At least not in a mainstream movie. Maybe in like an animated TV show, video game, comic, or a book, but not in a movie.
And that's what I think super disappointing. Because even though, like, this is from the perspective of someone who hasn't really seen any Star Wars things, but it's still like, even if you haven't seen anything from Star Wars, it's still like, you could very much tell when it's just like nostalgia bait. Or they're just like trying to stick to the formula, or just trying to put more Star Wars out there and not do anything with it. Like, it never feels like they're trying to do anything inventive with the series. It feels like they introduce something and then it just kind of use that as like a way to bring in an audience, and not as a way of telling like a more compelling or more interesting story.
Oh yeah, because specifically with like the Rise of Skywalker, or I guess a major complaint that I have. Where am I going with this?
It's the beard.
I don't know where I'm going with this, but I'm going to keep going anyways. One of my biggest problems with the sequel trilogy that has a major disconnect for me between the sequels and like the original and the prequels is that in the sequels there's almost nothing that really connects them through like planets you've already been to, alien species you see all the time. And then like going even farther, like the classic music, it just doesn't sound right, you know?
Yeah. Like I said, it does feel like it's just like, hey, look at the thing. You're using the old thing. Like, it never feels like it's a moment of, hey, we're gonna do something new or something cool.
Now, I'll give them this. When the Millennium Falcon's on the screen, they do play the music. That's about it. The only alien species that we really see from the prequels to the original trilogy, or the sequels to the original trilogy and the prequels, is Chewbacca, a Wookiee.
Yeah.
You don't see Twi'leks. You don't see Zabraks. You don't see fucking Rhodians. You don't see any of that shit. They don't go back to a single planet that was seen in either the original or the prequel trilogies.
Yeah, that annoys me.
Because they're these amazing planets like Tatooine. Well, Tatooine's not amazing, but it's kind of important. Exist for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
And then like Coruscant, like the Jedi Temple would have been a great place for Rey to go to.
Mm-hmm. I think they should have at least like tried to do something more with like old stuff though. Like, I think the best thing to come out of the sequels was old Luke, where it's like, hey, take this lightsaber, we need you, and he fucking throws it and walks away.
I would say that's not a good thing for Luke.
I like that because I love the idea of like, yeah, he's done with it. I like, one thing I like about something that the sequel does, and it goes with any medium, is when you have a character that existed in the series in like some form, and then making them old, and then just using confirming that time has passed and that they have changed because of that. And I think even if it's not something that you think is good or bad, it's still something interesting where it's like, yeah, he's done with the lightsaber shit, he doesn't care. Like the bit where he's like, what do you think I'm gonna do, go against the entire army with a laser sword and everything's gonna be fine? I fucking was like, yes, that's a great moment. And I know there's a lot of people that probably won't agree with that, but I think that's still, at the very least, interesting, and I wish they did more of that.
I mean, yeah, it's interesting. I just don't think that fits with Luke Skywalker specifically, especially if you look at him in Legends.
True.
Yeah, like,
Now, if
It
they were to
is
do that with
interesting.
like Han, that would fit perfectly with Han.
Yeah.
Like,
I guess it kind of did, but
I agree. It is like interesting, but thinking about Luke is a person who his father was one of, if not the most evil man in the galaxy, who killed several children and just people purely because they wanted to go with the light side of the Force.
Not just the children, but the men and the
Exactly.
women.
But and he knew that he could turn him and he could bring him back to the light, and he did that. But his nephew is just tempted by the dark side, and he's like, "Oh, we're screwed. Can't do anything. I'm gonna go."
Yeah.
gotta go kill him.
I don't
Like-
think that. Yeah, I'll agree that they didn't handle Luke specifically like that well, but I still think that they could have. The fact that they went out and tried to go like, yeah, he's all old and fucked up now. I think that they could have done something like that.
Now, on the contrary, I think Luke in The Rise of Skywalker, because
He's in the Rise of Skywalker.
a ghost. What do you expect?
Okay, fair.
I mean, that's not really much of a spoiler considering that any Jedi can really do that.
Yeah.
The way they handled him in that was great. I think he was perfect in that.
Yeah.
Because, like, he actually started to give a shit again. He was like, you can do this. You got this. And that was about it, but...
Yeah.
But it's... I don't know. Personally, I don't think they really handled any of the original characters that great.
Yeah.
Han was pretty good. You can't really fuck Chewbacca up that easily.
Yeah, there's really not much to Chewbacca, but it's fine.
They
I still think they should have.
absolutely shafted R2.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
3PO,
3PO just turned into a joke.
he talks too much.
I heard that like in episode 9, the actor for 3PO was literally like, "Hey, can I have him actually do shit this time?" And they're like, "All right, yeah, sure."
Which, he shouldn't need to ask to do that. He's been in every single Star Wars movie.
Him and R2
Yeah.
are the only ones to be in every movie.
And I'm not talking 3PO, I'm talking his actor, Anthony Daniels. He's been in every Star Wars movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anthony Daniels, is that his name?
I think so.
That sounds close, I think. I'm sorry. Again, I'm drinking.
Anthony Daniels.
Yes,
yeah.
you're right.
Okay, I was right. Yeah, he was in every live action movie, not as just like 3PO, but he was in Solo as like some cameo guy. And obviously Rogue One 3PO made an appearance in it, but still.
Yeah.
And he was the voice of 3PO in all the animated shit too.
Yeah.
He's probably the most dedicated Star Wars actor. He shouldn't need to ask to do shit.
Yeah, like I said, it's just like nostalgia bait. It's not actually trying to do anything cool or interesting.
Yeah.
Or at least not enough of it. It's just like you touch on it for like, you like barely graze it and you're like, okay, that's it.
But yeah, it almost feels like C3PO was like turned into a joke in the sequels.
He really was. Oh, you probably don't recognize because of the red arm. Blah 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 blah.
What
We
about
should
Silver
probably
Lake?
let's wrap the Star Wars conversation. Let's save it for Wrist Rocket.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the thing about the sequels though. It's so hard to like talk about just them because you have to bring up the other shit.
Yeah.
Exactly, because George Lucas has always said Star Wars is the story of Anakin Skywalker.
And this is just like a very bad end to it.
It's an awful end to it.
It's an end that has nothing to do with him.
Yeah. Oh no, Palpatine's back. Hold your thought. Who'd have thought?
Somehow Palpatine returned. Worst fucking line in the entire movie.
I think the worst part about it is the fact that it's just a clone too, and it's like, wow, you could have.
I mean, the cloning of the Palpatines isn't new, but the
It's
way they went
literally
about it
a-
is stupid.
Yeah.
Let's talk about something else now.
Please.
Yeah. Agreed.
I'll talk about Ping Pong the animation. All right.
Like the game?
No, the animation.
Oh man, I've always
the
wanted a
tabletop
movie
game.
about ping pong.
So Ping Pong the animation, it's one of those shows that you know that it exists and that it's a very significant, like it's a big anime that a lot of people have talked about, but like I've never had the chance to actually look into it. It's not on Crunchyroll anymore and it used to be, and I was very upset, so I had to find different ways to find it.
It's on
And-
Hulu?
I,
what I'm
I
finding?
I may or may not be having to kiss that anime.
Oh,
I'm sorry?
you have to use kiss anime.
I'm
Do you
just
kiss
saying.
your mother with that mouth?
I kiss my mother with that anime. Look, all I'm saying is that Crunchyroll didn't have the anime anymore, so I had to go into my closet and I had to go grab my coat and my peg leg and my eye patch and pull the parrot out of the cage. You know,
And be a pirate.
that's what I was getting at.
Yeah.
So the reason why I actually really got into the show is because of the fact that the Devilman Crybaby soundtrack finally got added to Spotify, which fucking Jesus Christ, finally. The creator of it, Kensuke Ushio, he made the soundtrack for Devilman Crybaby, A Silent Voice, which is a movie that I wanted to talk about but never got to. And then, of course, Ping Pong the animation. And I was like, oh, this soundtrack's pretty good. You know what? Let's actually give the show a chance finally. Well then, this is a pretty nifty show. So, real quick, guys, I can ask you to like look up screenshots of the show.
Oh, I'm already looking. And I found where I can watch it.
All right.
Is that kiss anime?
It's on Amazon.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. I don't think it comes with Prime, but it's on Amazon.
Yeah, I think you have to buy it. But the thing about this show is that when you look at the artwork of it, you're like, what the fuck is this? This looks terrible.
Yeah.
Like, I remember when I was watching the first episode, I was like, this show looks like it was made in MS Paint. And I remember that being like one of the major points of the show, the fact that it looks ugly, but the fact that the animation's good. And after having watched it, now I get it. Now I'm like, okay, now I see what's going on here. Because yeah, sure, the artwork may look bad, like just from like when you consider like how anime is usually meant to look. But despite that, the animation is fucking phenomenal. Where it's animated and it's super expressive, its animation, and then it also uses like paneling so that it can express like very specific moments and it does like it uses these panels to sort of not just express like the very specific moments of animation, but it also uses it to express like the emotions of characters. I don't remember which episode it is, but I know there's like a few specific examples that I had in mind that I can't think of off the top of my head. This show's interesting because of the fact that it's literally just a show about a ping pong team. It's a sports anime essentially, but and it's using the fact that it's a sports anime to express a story that it's not as extremely straightforward as maybe other shows. Like, the main character is a guy named Smile, and he's played off as this sort of extremely talented ping pong player that is not utilizing his talent because of the fact that he just wants to play the game to be just to have fun. But he's like on a ping pong team, but he's so much better than everyone else that it gets to the point later on in the show that he has an entirely different training regimen compared to his team, because literally no one is as good can actually play against him because he's so much better. It takes the approach of like lots of other sports anime, or at least like as from what I've seen of sports anime, where it's like the build up of all these different characters and then the eventual clash of them. It takes like not just Smile but also his friend, let me get his name, I believe it's Penku, if I'm remembering right. Pekko.
I'm just looking at the character list up here at the top of Google Images.
Yeah, Pekko. And then like Wang, who's like a Chinese player who comes to Japan so that he can play in a tournament. Then you have Kazuma, who's called the Dragon, and then another guy who's called the Demon. And it's taking like these larger than life characters and putting them against each other, just like as a sports anime would, but it's using this very specifically strange art style that on the surface is unappealing, but still managing to use it to make an anime that's very expressive. And it's hard for me to tell whether or not this was like it's animated this way because it's in the hands of people that aren't talented in drawing. Because I know like something like One Punch Man and what's his face, Mob Psycho. They're made by creators who aren't good at drawing but are very good writers, or is not a good drawer but is a very good writer. And I'm wondering if it's that, but at the same time, the animation for the show is so great, and then there are times where the animation is awkward, but it works in that moment. Like, there's the fight between Wang and Kazuma, and there's a bit where like Wang is trying to chase after a shot where the running animation looks super fucking janky, but it works because the entire point of that fight is sort of the just to display the sheer power gap between him and Kazuma. I'm only about like 6 episodes in, which I don't know how many episodes there are. I think it's about 12 or so. 11. Okay, yeah. So it's
Amazon said.
So it's about like the average length of an anime. I'm not too deep in, but from what I've watched so far, I'm enjoying it a lot. It's hard to really talk about it because it's not something that's like super narrative based, or at least it doesn't feel that way. It feels like it's just kind of a show that follows these characters who play ping pong, and then the sort of gradual build up of these characters and the presentation of them in a way that makes them seem like not just ping pong players, but these like titans. Like the introduction, like Dragon is specifically, he's one of those characters that he's talked about a lot, and we do get to see him like act outside of ping pong, and then sort of building up as like this dude who's like who's like super big and looks way older than any high schooler, and then the fact that he's like the captain of this ping pong team that is so much better than everyone else, and he's like a monstrous figure when you think of him as a player, and then eventually seeing how that why that is in his match between him and Wang is fucking. It is some gnarly shit. I don't know if I have much else to say, because the thing that really caught on to me was the art style and the animation of this, and then the fact that it's using these sort of amateurish looking drawings that are very specific, that look like they're just like tracings of like photos. And then managing to take that and actually use it to still, and managing to take that and still express the way the characters move in all these very different scenarios in such a way that feels like, as like I said, larger than life, just like the characters interacting within it. I don't know if I'll talk more about it the more I get into it, but we will see.
I think it's funny that you say Kazuma is called the Dragon, because in Yakuza, the main character's name is Kazuma Kiryu, and his nickname is the Dragon of Dojima.
Yeah, follows him. He's just playing ping pong now. And he shaved his head too.
I just think it's funny that they're both Kazuma and they're both the Dragon.
Yeah. Does Kazuma mean dragon?
I don't know. I just tried to look that up, but I can't find anything.
But yeah, ping pong animation is pretty cool. Now I get it. Do you have anything else, Grant?
Not me specifically. I just looked up the translation, and it is not Kazuma, it's Dragon.
Okay. Gotcha. It's one of those kind of words.
Yeah.
Shin Megami
The biggest
Tensei 5.
Yeah.
Shin
Yes.
Megami Tensei 5. We need to go kill God. We need to go kill God.
In case you're wondering, that's literally the plot of every single Shin Megami Tensei game.
That is literally the
That's
game.
amazing.
That is literally what the game is.
So I take it Shin Megami Tensei is like kind of in the same way like Persona, like you don't have to play the games before to understand the current one.
Yeah.
Okay, then I'll
It's
definitely
just like
pick
that.
up 5.
Yeah. The thing is, though, is that I totally forgot that it existed, because it's like...
Well, yeah, so did everyone else apparently.
Not really, because the community is always like, when is it? Where is it? Tell us the thing, right? Tell us something.
Okay, that's fair. I'm not really in the Shin Megami Tensei community.
Yeah.
People
so when
have
I saw...
been waiting for news on this for literal years.
Oh, did you
Because
guys see that tweet that I retweeted?
Oh, no.
No.
Where
look it
a
up.
guy tweeted, if SMT5 gets announced, my girlfriend and I are gonna get married. And then like 2 years later, he quote retweeted and said, later this year.
Oh, I thought it was going to be the one about the guy who said he's going to staple his balls.
That's what I was
thinking.
Yeah.
Fuck?
I saw that one.
No.
I didn't see that, but I heard someone talk about it, and I was like, that's hilarious.
But the thing is that dude should have been married like 3 years ago then, because this game has been announced for a while.
Not announced, like when the release date.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Because they announced this game about when the Switch was released.
Yeah.
They just haven't said anything about it since, until now.
Yeah, and the fans were waiting, but now they have their thing.
Yeah.
I was disappointed because, like I said, I didn't know what Shin Megami Tensei was. I mean, I knew what it was, but I totally forgot that it existed. And when I saw Atlas's name, I was like, yo! And I was like, oh, wait, no, it's that other thing. Okay.
I'm still kind of baffled that they just casually dropped it in a Nintendo
Yeah,
Direct.
it was on
Yeah.
a mini Direct that was like, hey, we got a few things to talk about.
We got
and then
we
it's
got
like,
a
hey,
few
here's this massive
third-party
news.
things to talk about.
And then it's this
I'm gonna
fucking
be
massive
honest.
news that
I
people have
think
been
the
waiting
main
for.
point of that direct was to just reveal stuff about this.
Oh yeah,
Because there's
Yeah,
like nothing else
definitely.
significant in that.
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
there
'cause the
was
other-
5, and then there was Nocturne Remastered.
Yeah.
The other stuff was just like DLC for like other smaller games that they do. It was.
And some crappy WWE game. It looks so
Oh
bad.
yeah. I've heard
looks so
news
bad.
about that. I've heard it's terrible. Oh boy. But hey, we get Kill God Part 5. Let's go.
Yeah.
It's a thing now.
Yeah, apparently, I think that Shin Megami Tensei actually has like a lot of like religious stuff associated with it, so it's gonna be interesting for me. Like you were literally going up against like God and like
certified
that kind of stuff.
Christian that has to go play a game about killing God. Have fun.
Legal
I actually think that it's like, it's a weird system in it, and like there's the light and dark and that kind of thing, and like depending on where you fall on this is like depends on like your endings and that kind of stuff and final bosses. But yeah, I don't know.
Hey, good for the SMT fans.
Yeah.
Let me go that.
It's also good because now people who play Persona will probably give that series a little bit of a boost.
and I look
Because
at
Persona has gotten more popular than Shin Megami Tensei.
and it probably one of the things I'm happiest about with Shin Megami Tensei coming 5 coming exclusively to the Switch is a big fuck you to the Persona 5 quote fans who have never actually played Persona 5 and just want it on the Switch.
Yeah, cute
Yeah.
stuff.
It's a big
I'm sorry.
a big fuck you to them because they're some of the most toxic people I've ever seen on Twitter.
Oh yeah.
I'm sorry, Kishta. I had to.
It had to be done. I understand. But then again, it's also like Persona's just like one of those things. They're like, oh, that's pretty cool. I'd like to try it at one point.
Yeah.
And it's like I don't have the access to it because I have literally every other console except
Yeah,
for
it-
the one that the game is on.
It's like you haven't been one of those like, oh man, I'm a huge Persona fan, that kind of stuff. You just kind of been like, yeah, I know that.
Yeah, it exists and I'm interested. But what I'm most glad about this is that we get to get the discussion again of why of Atlas just hating money. They
I think
hate
that
it.
now they're realizing that money is good, so now they're putting out their ports.
I don't think the reason why Persona the golden port exists is simply because no one has access to the actual form it's in, and
Yeah.
it's like, please do more of this, and Atlas is like, no, we don't like money.
I think that now they're like, money is good. We should make more of it.
Yeah, Atlas, money is okay. Money is
Wait, you-
pretty alright.
You're
You
telling
should try
me
and get
people
more of
will
it.
give me money if I give them what they want?
But the thing is, like with Shin Megami Tensei, though, like there are fans of like the way old games, right? And they could just
Yeah.
they could port it, or they could at least go to a company that they trust and say, "Hey, do the thing," and they're like, "All right, cool." But Atlas just doesn't, and I don't know. No one knows why. What caused this like weird, distinct hatred for money? I don't get it.
I don't think we ever will get it.
I don't think we ever will. It's one of life's greatest mysteries.
But I was secretly hoping out of that direct that we would get a West announcement of Persona 5 Scramble.
Yeah.
Oh
that'd be
yeah,
nice.
Scramble it does
That
exist.
still hasn't been
Yeah.
announced for the West yet, but supposedly it is in development.
It better
Yeah,
be.
I'd be surprised if I mean, I'm sure it is, but like, it's good to know things.
Yeah.
All right, that's our big news. What else do we got?
I got a couple things.
Same.
All right.
Well, I got actually a couple larger things, so if you guys got some smaller stuff, I'll go last.
I have
Yeah.
something that's actually like very small that I think is interesting.
Like
Alright,
micro
great.
penis small.
Maybe.
Maybe. All right, Grant, you go first.
So earlier today, I saw a trailer. I'm not sure if it was announced today, but they released. I saw a trailer for Yakuza Like a Dragon, which is Yakuza 7. But it's weird because it has an English dub,
I saw that.
and that is not something that has been in the Yakuza series since the first version released initially in the United States, which actually had Mark Hamill voicing a character.
Oh,
But
sure.
other than
This-
that,
Mark Hamill's fucking everywhere.
This news is super recent, like 4 hours ago. It says will be released in November.
yeah, like, and it's just weird that that's gonna have an English dub when like all the other games haven't. Like that's 6 other games with some other spin-offs that have not had a dub, haven't had a dub, and now they're going with one.
Strange.
Will you play the dub or will you continue to play subbed?
I don't honestly. The fact that by the time I get there, I'll have played 6 games, all in a sub. If I have the option for a sub, I'll probably do it.
No, that's fair.
But yeah,
That's
don't know.
interesting. I didn't really think much about that when I saw it, but now that I think about it, that's kind of weird.
Yeah.
Nice.
But yeah, that's that one.
Silence.
You had another thing?
Oh yeah, I did. I didn't know if we were just gonna move on to yours, but I saw something that I think it was Phil Spencer said that the Series X, he said he's like told to game publishers that they should make any game that they're planning on releasing on the Series X compatible with Xbox One.
Yeah, I saw that.
At least, at the very least, the initial launches.
Yeah,
That would be
for
very
like at
nice.
least like a year or two after.
Because I think Spencer said this specifically, that the Xbox One, not the Xbox One, the Xbox Series X will not launch with console exclusives.
Yeah, at least for
Meaning-
like the first year.
Yeah.
Yeah,
'cause-
meaning like it'll be on like either PC or like the one.
Yeah, because I know like a lot of the games that were announced to be like launch titles were things that were gonna be available on other platforms.
Yeah.
I know PlayStation's like that too. I believe.
That sounds about right, but it's also like the PlayStation fuckboys that I see shitting on Xbox because of that.
Yeah. You see that
The
picture of
console
like
it.
that picture of like SpongeBob eating from Gary's bowl, and on SpongeBob it has a caption like people who talk about how much better a console is compared to another platform, and then like the bowl is penis.
That's great. I have not seen that. That's great.
Yeah, that's what I got.
I'll do my other one because I took off the other one that I had was Min Min being in Smash, because even though it's super old news, I like playing her. I don't know how you guys feel about it.
I haven't touched Smash since Kazooie.
Damn.
She's just weird for me because she doesn't have any specials. It's all like A and B just do the same thing.
But with a
Like-
different arm. It's interesting as hell because it's literally just playing an ARMS character, but in Smash.
Yeah, it is interesting. I just cannot for the life of me get used to it.
I'm trying so hard to get used to it. It's not easy.
Like I just want to use my specials that I would use with a normal character, but like I can't, and I'm just kind of stuck with the default
Playing
hit.
too much Link. You're playing too much Link though.
I am. I always play Link or Captain
Yeah.
Falcon.
Sure.
Fucking Link main.
But yeah, Min Min's pretty alright. But that was a tiny one. But the bigger one, which is also old news, is DMC5 Special Edition leaks.
Wow.
I have not heard of this.
Alright, so apparently someone, I think it was on 4chan or something, like leaked the content that's going to be added to Devil May Cry 5 Special Edition, which fans have been asking for like since the game got released or whatever. Which I don't know. Even if these are real, I doubt they'll be coming anytime soon, because I know the Devil May Cry special editions for Devil May Cry 3 and 4 came out like way the fuck long after the initial release of the game. But with the leaks, it's saying that Devil May Cry 5 Special Edition will include, as with 4, playable Virgil, Trish, and Lady, 5 Virgil-specific missions plus a secret ending, New abilities are V, and then V will also be playable on every single mission. New skins for everyone, which includes DMC4, Dante, and Nero, and then a bikini Trish and Lady, which...
Of course.
Like...
Japanese game, I'm not surprised.
True, but at the same time, it's like, these are two badass characters that have been badass females girls for a while, and now they're just, like, not doing shit, and now they are in bikinis.
Yeah.
At least it'll be playable, whatever. Anyways, the special edition will be out for current gen as well as next gen consoles, and then it'll be $50 if you don't have the game already, and then $25 if you own it digitally.
Wow.
That actually sounds awesome and makes me want to play again.
True, but at the same time, it's like I'd have no idea how true these are, because I know like these got like taken down like instantly. I know there's no doubt that with the special edition, playable Virgil, Trish, and Lady will be a thing, but the other stuff are the things I'm like, I don't know if that's going to happen, but if it does, it'll be awesome. Though, I doubt I'll be using Cowboy Dante anytime soon. Because I think like of all of Dante's designs throughout the entire series, Devil May Cry 4 is the most, like, I don't like it a lot, and I think that's because I have this weird distinct distaste for cowboy boots.
Why?
I don't know. I just don't like them. They're fine on Nico because her outfit is very specific, but Cowboy Dante, I'd rather not.
Yeehaw.
But hey, Dr. Faust is the thing, so hey, we can really get on these yeehaw hours with Dante if this is true.
You've yeed your last ha.
He doesn't have a horse though. He killed it.
Oh man.
Poor horse.
Poor horse. No time powers for you, Dante. Not
But,
anymore.
if that is true, that actually like really interests me when it comes to like playing as Virgil and giving V more moves.
Yeah,
'Cause
literally. Okay, there's a thing where the entire time people were like, "Please give us fucking Virgil." There was a video that I saw of like I think it was a presentation of like there's a mod out there for PC of playable Virgil that people have made. There's a mod, so you can play Virgil just not in an official form. But there was a meme of just like the final the cutscene before the boss fight between Dante and Virgil in Devil May Cry 5, where it's like, "Hey Capcom, your portal opening days are over. Give me the Virgil." And then Capcom goes, "If you want it, then you'll have to take it." But you already knew that. I would love to be able to play as Virgil, like in an official form though, because I've seen like the playable Virgil mod, and holy shit, does it look amazing.
Yeah.
That's all I got. And what do you have?
Alright, I'll start with some of my smaller stuff. The stuff that you guys may not care as much about.
Probably not.
One of them is that the World of Warcraft Shadowlands Beta started last week. That's about it. I'm not in it,
Okay.
but the beta started last week, so there's not too much new stuff that's out yet. But it's out there, and I'm not in it, so I'm sad. Keeping on the trend of MMOs, Star Wars: The Old Republic is now on Steam.
Let's go.
Don't care personally, but hey, maybe that'll attract some new players to the game, so I can wreck some noobs.
Even though we don't do PvP.
Not often, no, because
Never.
well, I do sometimes. They're okay.
I never do. I hate it so much.
I mean, Hutball's cool.
I never understood Hutball.
Well, the concept of Hutball is cool.
Yes, the concept's cool.
There we go.
Tomorrow, this hasn't happened yet, but tomorrow, the Halo Infinite campaign trailer is going to drop.
Ooh, yeah.
Because the Xbox Games Showcase is tomorrow, and they're really leaning into Halo Infinite. I hope that means they have something really good to show us, or I'm sorry, Microsoft, you're going to flop again.
I hope it's actually like, hey, we're going to bring Halo to new players, and not, oh my god, it's Master Chief. That was the dumbest thing I've ever seen.
I don't know. There's rumors going around. Like there's been like a lot of like screenshots that Microsoft has been putting out recently of the Chief, and one they put out like a couple hours ago as of recording this has what looks like a grappling hook on his wrist.
That's what I've heard.
And like you can actually very visibly see it, which is that's okay. I mean, good for them. I just
Hook Chief.
I just hope that it's not like it's not gonna I don't know. I just hope that they do it right and keep like the classic gameplay, which they said they're gonna bring back. Not they're gonna try and bring back, that they are gonna bring back, but still have new elements in there.
I think that's fine.
Because I look at the grappling hook as I would look at like Halo Reach with Sprint and how controversial it was. Like if they do it right, it'll be good, but if they don't, people are gonna hate it.
Yeah, I feel like if they go like the Halo Reach route and just like add something in addition to the normal gameplay,
It'll be
rather than
totally
the Halo 5 route,
Yeah.
where you just like completely you just overhaul everything and change it all, that would be a problem. But yeah,
I don't know. I'd be totally fine if they had like crazy new mechanics.
I mean, I'd be fine with that, but it has to be on top of the old stuff.
Yes, absolutely. Or at the very least, like changing the old stuff so that it's actually working alongside the new things.
As I personally, I would like it if they didn't fuck with the old stuff at all, unless they like refined the new thing and then fucked with it a little bit.
I guess so. Maybe it's because I'm just like someone who loves seeing like interesting game mechanics.
I mean,
So-
I'm all down for interesting game mechanics, but when Halo has been fucked with so hard,
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I know what you mean.
fair.
they need to go back to the old ways for people to enjoy it again. Like for
This is the
multiplayer
way.
specifically, they need to drop the focus on like esports and competitive. They need to go back to like Blood Gulch, big team battle, vehicles everywhere, just having a good old laugh. It can't be like Halo 5, SWAT, you're dead every time you spawn, get shit on noob.
Or Warzone, that's just loot box extravaganza.
I love the concept of Warzone.
It's really cool, but it just
Oh, yeah.
turns into whoever has the laser scorpion,
Yeah.
the Goss scorpion,
Yeah.
which does exist, that has a shield.
It shouldn't. It should
stupid.
not.
It's so stupid. Personally, some things I hope they keep are in a way the rec system, not so much like the loot box part of it, but more like the cool weapon variants.
Yeah.
I think that was really cool. Same with like the vehicles, but maybe not throw like maybe have like a Fiesta vehicle mode where they have like all the wacky vehicles, but then like keep like the normal vehicles for like normal modes.
One thing I think that would be really cool is if they took the the system from Halo 4 that honestly is very forgettable.
The
But,
kill streak thing.
Whatever it is where you could call in a weapon.
Yeah, I
If
think
you-
that's like a kill streak thing.
Yeah, I think so. And it would just like be like, okay, request a weapon, and then you could be like, oh, I want the shotgun, or oh, I want the sniper.
Yeah, it gives you like a choice of 3 random things, right?
Yeah, if you do that, and like maybe you could like select which ones could be like in this group or something like that with like rec weapons included. I think that would be a good way
That'd
to
be
do it
cool.
instead of just
I
being
mean, I
like,
did like
I
that.
want to, instead of just being like, I want the rocket launcher that shoots 6 shots at once, and I want the laser mantis, and I want the banshee that can like shoot 6
Yeah.
million missiles. Like,
Yeah.
Despite all our gripes with current multiplayer, it's just a campaign reveal tomorrow. So, personally what I'm hoping for is more of like a throwback to like Combat Evolved, where it's semi-open world but still linear in a way.
okay, I saw something that was supposedly, I'm not sure if it was a leaked box art or confirmed box art, but it looks almost exactly the same as Combat Evolved.
I'm pretty sure that's confirmed because that's been popping up a lot today, and even
Look this up
Microsoft
really
and
quick.
Halo are tweeting it.
Then it's
Oh
official.
my god, it does look exactly the same.
I think that's
That
what
I
they're
don't-
going for, though.
I don't like that. I don't like.
Do you want to like introduce it to new players, or are you giving it to the same people? Like, choose. God damn it.
I think they're trying to do both, and I can't tell if
can't?
it's working or not.
It's not, because it's literally like, hey, we're gonna introduce new players, but it's also like, oh my god, it's the old thing.
It's
People are like, what?
literally exactly the
It is
same.
literally the exact same thing. What?
The Halo anniversary cover was more different than that.
Exactly.
No,
Yes.
no, the cut. Well, was it? I don't remember what the Combat Evolved
Combat
Anniversary
Evolved
looked like.
Anniversary was like black. Look up Combat Evolved Anniversary cover.
Yeah, that looks way different.
Oh, what am I thinking?
Or
of?
different enough to be like, okay, that's an entirely new
Why
thing.
is the first thing that pops up a picture of it on the Wii?
Why the fuck is it on the Wii?
It's not. What am I'm thinking of... Oh, what am I thinking of?
Good,
the thing I'm thinking of is... It's like the original box art, but like split down the middle, it's the old and then the new. That's what I'm thinking of, not that. But
I like that someone like actually edited a version of it that basically is just the exact same cover, and it looks not that all that different from what that's presented. Like it looks like, oh, you just change the position of Chief and adjust some colors, and now you're fine.
Yeah, pretty much. Just made it brighter.
Yeah.
I mean, I know that they're trying to bring new people in, but as someone who's not a new people, I don't give a fuck. Just give me the Halo.
True, but like it's one thing where it's like you're trying to introduce new people, but then you're totally not doing that. It's bothering me a lot. And it's especially bothering me now because it's going into the design of things.
It could be one of those things where they're trying to do like, I don't know, like if they're trying to like lean into like a soft reboot or whatever, so they're trying to like lean into the old stuff because it's like rebooting it in a way.
I don't think they've done anything to show that that's a potential thing, though.
Well, they haven't shown anything yet. That's the problem.
True. But, like, I don't know. We'll see once the campaign reveal is revealed.
It's tomorrow at 11 if you guys want to watch it live.
Okay.
I know I will. And I think I'm going to stream it, too, because why the fuck not?
I'll try.
Okay, this is a picture I just found that has like a concept cover and the actual cover. I think the concept cover looks way cooler. Yeah, I'm putting in the Discord, but
Checking.
I think
the concept cover looks way better. It's still not that. It's still not interesting, but it's still at least it's different.
Yeah.
It's still not enough though, man. It's just me being a graphic designer, being like, you need to try and do something interesting, please, God.
The actual cover looks like they just took Chief and then did the thing where you can put their weapon down and like reach.
Yeah, it really do.
That's what it
really
looks
do
like.
Be like.
Both are like offensively boring, but the right one is like, holy shit.
Not
could you
only
have
is
at
it
least
offensively
tried?
boring, but they're copying what the first game did.
Yeah, like the first one is like it's boring as hell, but the second one is like you guys aren't even fucking trying.
I don't know. I'm hoping for something good out of it tomorrow.
I'll watch it tomorrow.
I'll be watching it. I'll do like a live Twitch reaction if you want to join me for it.
All right.
What time is it at?
It's at 11
Uh,
in the morning.
With that, I think we're done here.
Nope, I got 2 more.
Oh shit.
These are kind
that was
of.
supposed to be a short one.
These are kind of. These are kind of the bigger ones, but I'll keep them brief. Sony has doubled the production of the PlayStation 5, and has also limited the amount of PlayStation 5s that each household can purchase to 1.
Limit scalpers, right?
Yeah. Like, so they're doubling the production, but each house can only buy 1, which is, yeah, that's fine.
I think it's fair.
Yeah, it's fine.
I don't know why that's not really like a thing that's like for every console release. They should do it at least for the release.
I think it's just a thing where they're trying to make sure that they just don't disappear in an instant.
Yeah, which is
which
gonna
is
happen
fine.
anyways.
Yeah, I'm sure it's gonna happen anyways.
But
They're minimizing it.
yeah.
It's also so that people don't just like buy 12 and then sell them for like $1,000.
Yeah, that's also a thing.
Yeah. I mean, people were probably still gonna buy like 3 per house anyways, but
Yeah.
they'll find ways around it. I don't know how they're gonna regulate that, but people will find ways around it. And then probably the dumbest thing on my list is Microsoft Flight Simulator has a physical version that's 10 discs.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
I don't know much about it, because I'm not going to get the physical version, because I don't fucking care, nor do I have a disc drive, but the physical version has 10 discs.
Now, is this just the PC version?
I believe so, because I don't think a console will do that.
Okay, because I'm pretty sure it's coming out on Xbox.
I think it's on the Windows Store, not Steam, the Windows Store, and the Xbox One. And I assume the Series X when it drops, but it's dropping before the Series 1, or Series X, or whatever the fuck.
Yeah, I'm looking. I'm actually kind of excited for that.
Oh, so am
Yeah,
I.
I've seen it. It looks fucking great.
I'm
It
gonna
does.
play the fucking shit out of that. I'm gonna crash into so many buildings. Well,
As long as you don't... I don't think they'd allow for it, but as long as you don't do a very specific thing, everything is fine.
I'm not gonna do the very specific thing. If anything, I'm gonna go, like, I don't know.
do the Rick and Morty thing where you don't do it, but hey, you'll do the Pearl Harbor thing.
I'm just excited to go, like, crash into stuff, I guess.
Alright.
I tried to buy Flight Simulator 10 one time on Steam. The controls on the controller absolutely suck, and I couldn't find my joystick, so I just refunded it.
Yeah. That's fine.
I do have a joystick somewhere. I don't know where it is, though.
I'm thinking about getting, like, one of, like, those high-tech ones, because it's supposed to work with Squadrons, too.
Oh yeah,
really?
right, it is.
And I already have my PC squad set, so it'd be cool to have that.
Nice.
But anyways, that's all I've got.
Alright, we're done here then? Finally?
3 hours later, yes.
For reals this time?
Yeah, for realsies this time.
For realsies.
Alright, Aiden, the good people want to know where they can find you. Where could they do that?
You can find me on primarily, anyways, twitch.tv/Freebiy. You can also find me on YouTube for edited content, which doesn't happen all that often anymore. Not that it really did in the first place. You can also find me on Twitter, and I'm starting to use my Instagram now. So go ahead and find me on Instagram, the Freebiy.
Oh shit, I gotta add that.
Because fucking Freebiy was taken.
Huh?
Yeah. I'm kind of confused and disturbed that it was taken when this name has been taken almost nowhere.
That is odd.
Yeah.
So
All
I'm
right.
the Freebiy.
Grant, people want to find you. Where could they do that?
I only have Twitter, so I think I'm just weighty Clover on there. I don't know. I don't do much on there.
Yeah.
Is it
You're the
75? I don't know.
You're the full name.
I don't do too much on there, but yeah, that's me.
Alright.
Nice.
And if you want to find me, I am on Twitter, Instagram, and Pinterest at Drinksaholic.
And be sure to come back to the Bunch of Dumbs YouTube channel in the near future for the Wrist Rocket podcast.
Yep.
Date to be announced.
Soon.
New things to
TM.
come. Soon TM. Alright.
Okay,
I really
bye.
gotta go take a piss. Thank you
Again?
for listening. Yeah. I said 4 drinks next to me.
Jesus.
I'm I call Drinksaholic for a reason.
Well, let's see. I went through 3 alcohols and a Pepsi.
3 alcohols. Well, thank you for listening. We'll see you next time.
Have a good night, wherever night is
Goodbye.
for you. Night, night, good night, night.
What he said.
And with that, I'm gonna stop recording.
Stop.
Thank you.